was getting ready to be on a podcast with friends. Optional dialogue, PS Premiere, The Lounge, call it whatever you like. It was going to be another great episode, and especially given the huge topics. We were going to talk about Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2, Assassin's Creed Mirage, and more. My fingers clacked on the keyboard, furiously smashing the right keys, and laughed along with a lame horror movie my partner and I were watching. If my excitement of being on the podcast didn't kill me, this movie surely would.
Welcome to Optional Dialogue, episode 88. Once again, I'm your host, Sebastian, and I'm joined by Dory, Mitch, and James. So, happy Halloween, everybody. Today, we have a lot of game impressions to talk about. We're going to talk about Forza, Assassin's Creed, Super Mario, Alan Wake, and then Spider-Man. So, let's start with Forza. James, how is the new Forza Motorsport?
Not good.
Damn.
After a nice little cherry intro is what we're going to do. Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, this versus Gran Turismo 7, which wins?
Okay, so I haven't played enough of
Okay.
Forza Motorsport yet to make that comparison. But I would say at the moment for me, and I have only played like an hour or two, but I would say at the moment they're both at similar levels of disappointment. But okay, so I think my disappointment with Gran Turismo 7 was more to do with my expectations for that game based off of previous entries, Gran Turismo Sport especially because it kind of is built on top of that game. With Forza Motorsport, I haven't played a lot of the Forza games, the Forza Motorsport games. The last Forza Motorsport game that I really played was the original Forza Motorsport. Which obviously a long time ago. There's been like 8 of them since then. But yeah, so the disappointment for this was just not based on any expectations, but just kind of based on... It's not what I really want from a racing game. Like, the driving feels fine, but it just kind of feels fine. There's nothing special about it. The one point I will actually give it over Gran Turismo 7 is the AI you're racing against actually feels passable, you know, which was my huge point of criticism for Gran Turismo 7. But, and look, okay, this is the other thing. This isn't necessarily a knock against the game. Like, this is not something that Forza Motorsport does wrong. It's just like a very personal thing that throws me off a little bit. Is like, to me, motorsport is so kind of ingrained in kind of British and European culture that it just feels so weird playing a racing game and having all the tutorials and everything being spoken to me by an American voice. Like, it just it feels weird, and I kind of don't like it.
And isn't it a British developer too?
I don't know, because so the developers that make Playground Games, who make the Forza Horizon games, they're based in the UK. I don't know about Turn 10. I would assume Turn 10 is based in America, considering
They're
they
American.
use American voice and stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
But yeah, those are like the kind of standout points that I guess I wanted to bring up. I haven't played it in a wee while, so it's not so fresh. But I don't know, Seb, what did you played a little bit of as well, right? What did you think?
It's just not my kind of game. I don't like simulated racers. I liked Horizon better because the Horizon you can just drive off track and drive all over the place, all over the map and stuff. But my biggest issue with the game was the frame rate drops. Like, I'm playing on a 4080, and it kept dipping below 60. I was playing on ultra settings though, but even then, like I had games that don't have that problem on ultra settings, and this game did. It's not the prettiest racing game I've ever seen. I think Forza Horizon looks much better. But my thing is, go ahead.
No, I never had any frame rate issues, and I don't know if it, because I left the graphic settings on the automatically applied ones on PC. I don't know if it's just because I was playing on lower settings, but I was a little bit underwhelmed by the graphics, considering
I was underwhelmed.
all the trailers for the game and how good it looked in those, and how good it seemed like it was gonna look when it finally came out.
I agree. I thought Horizon blew me away a lot more. Horizon, I didn't put like 50 hours into it or anything, but like I played like enough, 10 hours or whatever, 15 hours, and the graphics in that game were just phenomenal. And that was before I had a 4080 PC, so I was disappointed with the graphics in this game. But I think if you like simulated racing games, you would like this game. It's just not my thing. That's why I'm not a big Gran Turismo fan either. Like I like it, but never been my series. I like arcadey racers more. But I think people that I mean it's on Game Pass, and I think people that they like racing games are gonna be satisfied for the most part. I don't think it's gonna be anything monumental and game changing in the genre. I think people.
No, definitely not.
I think it's a nice early October game for people on Game Pass, and that's pretty much all I have.
Before it came out, I played a little bit of one of the Forza games from before, Forza Motorsport 7 or 8 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And this really doesn't feel like that big of an evolution of the series. It feels really similar.
Yeah, it feels same old, same old. But the career mode, I was kind of bored. I don't know. I just didn't like I like when there's an actual story and like something somebody to root for. Like it would have been cool if they put more effort in the story mode. Like you're like a upcoming racer or like you're underdog or something, and you work your way up the circuits and stuff. Get a sponsor or something.
I think it's tricky to nail career modes in track racers specifically.
Yeah.
Because the F1 games now have Breaking Point, which is like their kind of cutscene story mode, where you play as like a young F1 driver trying to get into support and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they've got like a story in that.
Yeah.
I think I mean, and speaking personally, right, it's not why I appreciate that stuff, but it's not what I look for. I think what I think is more important in a career mode for this kind of game to nail is the progression. Like, as long as I don't need like cutscenes and characters and stuff, as long as there's a good sense of progression and it doesn't feel like okay, here's a bunch of races for you to do, check these all off. Like, as long as there's like a sense of like I'm working towards buying a new car and I'm working towards like, kind of climbing the ranks and buying better and better cars and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
As long as there's that kind of sense of progression,
yeah,
I think that's what you need to have. But that's kind of, it feels like a lot of games that are coming out these days, especially these big prestige ones, are somehow failing at that. So it must be pretty difficult to nail if even these guys are not doing it very well.
Right. Like I said, it's hard for me to really judge this game just because it's not my game. It's not my genre. I just tried it because it's on Game Pass. I wanted to see how the visuals would look, and I just wasn't really. I didn't have fun with it as much as Horizon. So for Forza Horizon.
This is not a criticism of the game, but like what annoys me, and I had the same issue with Forza Horizon, is playing games on Game Pass. I can't use the Steam controller. And I really want to use the Steam controller for these games because it's such a good controller for racing games.
Oh yeah, I only use the Xbox controller for PC gaming. So
yeah, it's really nice because it's got the paddles on the back.
Wait, can you show the front of the controller, James? I just want to. Yeah, okay, so it is the one with the weird ass paddle circles on the front. Okay,
yeah. but it's got it's got these paddle buttons on the back.
Do you?
Which are. Huh?
Do you have a steering whel?
No, I don't. It's a lot of money.
I figured you might have one because you like racing games.
I'd like one, but I've never played enough like racing games seriously to justify it.
I mean, think about it this way, James. You invest in that, next thing you know, you're going to be, starring in Gran Turismo 2, the movie.
Based
off your own
another
character,
true
based
story.
off your own,
Yep.
based off your own character and story.
Like all the characters are Scottish. It's like the Scottish adaptation of Gran Turismo.
What you get Gerard Butler playing David, whatever Hopper's character from.
Just make
David
it
Harbour.
just make it David Tennant.
Mitch.
Yeah.
Mitch, you couldn't even get his name right.
David Tennant, right.
Name-based jokes.
Yeah.
I was
Not
okay. I
let's not do
was
name-based jokes, buddy.
Is Gerard Butler even
was-
Scottish?
Isn't he?
Or is he Irish?
I don't know.
Who?
Oh, he is
Gerard
Scottish. I
Butler.
didn't know that. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
I don't really like
Jared
Gerard Butler though.
I didn't fuck that one up. That's good. Okay.
I'm all out of Scottish
instead
people
of
I
David
know.
Harbour, I was gonna.
So
Yeah, I was
Calvin
gonna
Harris?
call him David
I know who
Hopper
else is there.
instead.
yeah. The Braveheart guy.
Um,
Not Mel Gibson, but like the character. It's
Oh,
just
William Wallace.
no. It's just the character. It's not even Mel Gibson. It's just the character. It's like
apparently Mel Gibson's Australian. I
What?
don't know.
yeah,
Is Mel
yeah.
Gibson?
So condolences on
I
that
don't.
one.
American-born Australian.
No loss for me.
Nah.
Anyway.
What?
You're like, you guys can have him. We don't
Yeah.
want him.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Well,
Like every time someone like reminds me that he's Australian, I'm like, nah.
Nah. Maybe not.
It makes sense. I mean, Mad Max
Nah.
is an Australian film series, so
Yeah.
True.
yeah.
But it's just like every time I see him in anything else, he's like the least Australian person I've ever seen.
It's probably been in Hollywood too long. That's why.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
That's
I
the
mean-
thing with all actors.
I mean, what is an Australian supposed to look like? Like Crocodile Dundee? Like I don't know. Like
Oh yeah.
what's he supposed to?
Like,
What's he supposed to look like? You know what I mean?
Well, not so much look, but like he just. It's all down to the accent. Like it's so
Yeah.
fluently American that it's like there's like
Sure.
not even a hint of Australian in there.
Yeah,
Like at least with like
Yeah.
I remember like I think I don't know the actress who was in was it Chuck with Zachary Levi or whatever. It's like
yeah.
I don't know. She's been in a few movies, but it's like her accent just fluently goes between American and Australian, like with the enunciation or pronunciation of certain things, and it's
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, like that's an Australian who's just been living in America for too long.
Yeah. When you come to
But like
America,
with Mel Gibson,
when you come to America, like you should like wear a vest, like have knives everywhere, just like really sell it, like because Americans think all Australians talk like that, so
Yeah.
really sell it.
yeah,
Like that's how.
show up like
Yeah.
like fucking Schwarzenegger and Commando,
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of same old, Assassin's Creed Mirage doesn't do anything new at all. But I'm very happy with that actually. I do regret buying it full price because I feel like this game I could have waited
Yeah.
on because there's just a lot of stuff around it that I was playing. Because I rebeat Baldur's Gate and I was playing Cyberpunk and then I beat Spider-Man, platinumed it, and Alan Wake's out now and all that stuff. I was just like, it was just kind of shoved in between everything, and so I didn't get to beat it yet, but I am like, I don't know, halfway through the game, so I have enough that I can do impressions on. I want to say the visuals of this game are really good in terms of the environments. The environments look really nice. I think the lighting's really nice. I think I love like it has a smaller setting. It's a very self-contained game, which I loved because I was so tired of the bloated 70-hour Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah,
This one is only
It's in Baghdad, right?
Yeah, it's in Iraq, and it's only like 25 hours to platinum it, so it's a very smaller experience, which I prefer. Like I said, it's a nice return to form because it's all about the stealth in this game. It does nothing new. It just does old school Assassin's Creed again. Like it pleases those fans. So if you're somebody that likes Origins, Valhalla, or Odyssey, you're gonna hate this game. If you like the older school Assassin's Creed games, you're gonna be very happy, or at least satisfied, I think. And if you but like for everybody else, I think this game is probably gonna be very average to you. Like this game is very 7 out of 10 ish. I think that's what the reviews are pretty much are, Metacritic.
Yeah.
And yeah, I agree with that. It's a good game. It's just not a great game. It's nothing amazing. It's just it's satisfying because that's what I wanted. The worst thing about the visuals though is the character models look very dated. They look like PS4 character models. So the environments are very pretty.
Yeah.
But like when you get to the actual cutscenes and stuff, it looks bad. It's not like enough to like ruin the experience for me, but it's enough where it's like it's definitely noticeable, especially when you're playing when you're playing Alan Wake and Spider-Man, and it's like night and day. And the story itself isn't anything to write home about. It's pretty average Assassin's Creed story. You know, Templars
Also,
again.
I've been hearing.
Yeah. So it's really all there is to say about this game. Is just that like it does have a nice soundtrack too. There's some cool songs that I think are gonna be up there amongst the best of the year in terms of like memorable songs. Like it has its own like a recording and stuff like of people singing, and it's actually one of the better songs of the year. I think I can see this game getting nominated for best soundtrack, for sure. But overall,
Nice.
it's very average. I'd wait for a sale. You get the Ubisoft subscription for like $15, and you can get it that way. I don't know if they do that outside the U.S. I'm pretty sure they do, but they don't. It's only $50 though, so it's not like it was $70 or anything. It's only $70 if you buy like the deluxe edition, which I don't seem like it's worth it. It is a very heavy sell.
Ubisoft.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Ubisoft deluxe editions really aren't worth it, since like I think at most they usually just give you like an extra bonus mission, which most side missions in Ubisoft games are crap anyways, and then like you might get like a cosmetic pack or anything.
It's true.
And it's
Honestly,
I don't
I don't think this is a hot take, but like most deluxe editions are not usually worth it. At least in my opinion. Like I'm not much of a collector, maybe.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, because like at least in like PlayStation's case, since they still call them deluxe editions, they're like if you're a big enough fan and like you want to get like the digital art book or like get a few cosmetics and stuff, worth it in that sense. And they're only like $10-15 at the most to like even just upgrade to, whereas like Ubisoft, it's like you have like the base edition, the deluxe edition, and then you have like I think it's like the ultimate edition. Or no, you have the gold edition and then you have the ultimate edition. And so it's like they've got like for some reason Ubisoft is like I think the only company still doing like 4 editions for their games, and that's before you get to the collector's edition if they had one for this game.
Ridiculous.
Which it's I don't know how much, I don't know where, or like who is buying the like $110 version of Avatar for the PS5. Like the ultimate edition for that. Who
Hardcore Ubisoft fans, I would imagine.
Oh my god, yeah.
Not hardcore Avatar fans, because there are none.
They don't exist. They don't exist.
Don't screw it with this Avatar.
They're not real.
Fans.
It's like the state of Ohio. It's like the state of Ohio. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Just the thought of like the whole family.
But yeah,
there's not a single hardcore Avatar fan. Everybody's just casual. Like
there isn't.
Everyone's casual. You don't even have to market to the casuals. You just have to market, and then it all works itself out because they're all casual fans.
You say that now until like one of you is like dressed up as an avatar. Like you have like the makeup on and everything.
That's right.
You just show up on the camera.
The only hardcore Avatar fans are the ones who watch the of the blue people. That's my hot take. That's my hot take.
So one thing I'm curious about, Seb, and obviously, I guess this would be spoilers or whatever, but like just vaguely, does the post-credit scene, like, I don't know where the fuck like Assassin's Creed is anymore because I stopped playing at Black Flag, and that's probably always where I'll stop unless they remake it or whatever. But like, does the story go anywhere? Do they do anything with like the Templars that's new and exciting at the end? Is there a cool post-credit scene where it's like, oh, the Assassin's Creed multiverse, cinemaverse is coming?
I didn't
like. I don't know. Like, is anything happening?
I didn't beat the game, so I can't tell you about a post credit.
Oh, that's right. You didn't beat the game.
But,
that's right. I forgot you said you were only halfway through.
Yeah,
that's right. I forgot.
I do actually. Okay, I haven't played the game. I know what happens. I haven't been Valhalla either, so like I haven't even experienced any of this lore or knowledge firsthand to know what the context is. But I know how Mirage ends, and it's interesting, I think, but not in the sense that like, oh, it sets up the future of the Assassin's Creed franchise. Like, no, it just kind of ties back into Valhalla and Basim's character in that game.
Yeah, Basim's in Valhalla.
That's all it is.
It connects to Valhalla.
Yeah.
But you basically get his origin story. But if it's any, I don't know how the ending is, but if it's any other Assassin's Creed game, it's probably gonna jump into the future. It's gonna have some random like science fiction thing at the end. Like, that's how Valhalla ended. It's just like, oh, there's a giant machine and like a computer thing. Yeah.
I mean, if it was going to be about Basim's, if it was going to be about Basim's origins, I've got a great Assassin's Creed subtitle they could have used: Assassin's Creed Beginnings, right? Everybody, right? Beginnings.
They're running out of subtitles, so
they're running out of fucking subtitles. Is the joke?
They keep it up. We're gonna get Kingdom Hearts subtitles. It's gonna be Assassin's Creed Birth by Sleep 358 over 2.
Oh no! Honestly,
2.5. It's gonna be Assassin's Creed 2.5.
That's right. When they remake Brotherhood and all that shit, it's going to be Assassin's Creed like 2.799 or whatever.
Kingdom Hearts even did 2.8. They just So anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. It's a stealth game, so if you try to like attack everybody and fight like one-on-one, and you get overwhelmed, you're gonna get overwhelmed by a bunch of enemies. This game's more about the stealth. So back it's not like Valhalla where you had more of an option, like, because obviously it didn't make any sense for Vikings to stealth all the time. A Viking would just like charge in and want to die. Anyway, So next game we're gonna talk about is Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which is obviously a much better game. In fact, it is my top 10 of the year now. In fact, I think it's the best 2D Mario game since Super Mario World back on the Super Nintendo. So like a nice 30-something years. It is that good of a game. Like, this is one of those monumental game changers for the series, I think. For 2D Mario, I mean. Obviously, it's not Mario Odyssey because it's a 3D Mario. It's in a way, it's kind of funny. Like, there's two different styles of Mario, two different genres of Mario, of the same franchise. But as for 2D Marios, though, and not just 2D Mario, but platformers in general, like this is one of those like marquee platformers. Like, this is one of the greatest platformers ever made. Good. I mean, you got like a 90-something on Metacritic. So it's everybody's raving about it, and it deserves it. Why? Well, first of all, the visuals look incredible. It has such a unique art style. For Mario, they totally changed it, and it kind of has like a cell shadedness to a bit, and Mario and all the characters have different designs to them, and it looks really good. But it's not even just that; it's like the subtle animations, like when he's Elephant Mario and he tries to fit in the tube, and he has to like squeeze in, or like if he tries to squeeze in, he grabs his hat, like he forgets the hat and grabs it. It's like very subtle, like 1-second animations, but it makes the whole experience unique and cool. And I love because I always love subtlety. And obviously the level design's amazing. Like, obviously you guys have seen the trailers for it, and all the craziness that happens when you get the wonder thing going on. So the mushrooms or seeds or something?
It's a wonder flower, I think.
Wonder flower. There you
seeds,
go. Yeah. So you hit that, and the whole stage goes crazy, and it actually it can be very difficult in some parts. Like, it is a tough platformer in some parts. It is not. It's still casual. Don't get me wrong. But it has its moments where, like, you have to be a little bit more precise with the jumping. It's not like Yoshi's
Do they still have those
you
like extra special levels and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, there's a lot to do. A lot to collect in this game.
Yeah,
Obviously, like there's 3 coins you can collect in every level, and you can play multiplayer with your friends. It has
Right,
online
yep.
multiplayer too. You can play a bunch of different
okay.
characters. You can play as Mario, Luigi, I think Toad, and a couple Yoshis and things like that. I don't know all the characters' names. I forgot the other 2, but it's really fun.
Is the game...
Go ahead.
So is it, sorry, like in terms of like structure and stuff, is it basically just like the same old Mario 2D platformer? Like, you still progress through every single world. Do they still have like, the princesses in another castle type thing? Is it still that, or have they changed things up?
We really should title this
worse?
episode "Same Old Same Old" because it's 3 games in a row now. We've said that. Yeah, it's the same story. Bowser does something bad. He takes over the castle.
Does he actually kidnap Peach in this one?
No, you can play as her, I believe. So
Hey,
I'm playing as Mario.
New.
Yeah,
Whoa.
but basically, you go to the end of the level, you jump on the pole, you slide down, and you fight.
Yeah.
And then eventually you lock like to the boss level, and you beat the boss, and the castle unlocks. You go to the new world, and every world, is desert level, snow level, But I think one of the cool things about this game is it has the new badge element, where like these badges give you skills, like different skills. It's kind of it has like a mini role playing element to the game.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's like some badges make you jump higher, or you get more coins for killing certain enemies. But
that's kind of cool.
And this game, even though this game is the same old in terms of like the story, the world itself is fresh. Like, it's like all brand new enemies they designed for. Like, they design all new monsters you can ride on, and like it's really unique. It's like a different land. You're not in the Mushroom Kingdom anymore, so so it opens the door for like a whole new place you can explore in the Mario franchise. Like maybe I'm curious what it look like in 3D, like when they do like an Odyssey kind of game again. So
imagine how much of a fucking trip it'd be if just like like in the first level of the new Mario game, you jump onto the end pole, you keep sliding down, but then it's like once Mario gets to the bottom, it actually just switches to like a third person point of view, and all of a sudden you're like playing with like like Batman Arkham mechanics, just fighting a bunch of Goombas, countering.
Honestly, that's not. I mean, Odyssey kind of did that because Odyssey mixed 2D and 3D together. Like it had a really that's what made it so good. But it would be. I'm surprised Nintendo hasn't done that. Where they combine different genres. Like all of a sudden Mario just like all of a sudden ends up being in Star Fox or like Metroid kind of gameplay. Yeah. Like that'd be cool. Yeah.
I mean,
like a Nintendo tribute.
I honestly do really want to at some point get into a Mario game. Like I probably won't be going out to buy this one anytime soon, but it's like, like I've got, or like my brothers have got like Odyssey, and they've got I think 3D World, which I missed out on when I was younger, and like all that stuff. It's like because I think like really the only Mario game I myself actually had that I didn't like play on friends or families, like Wii's and stuff, was the Super Mario Brothers on the DS. Like that's really the only Mario game I can say that I've actually owned, and I cannot tell you how many times I restarted that game as a kid, just like from World 1, because I just kept losing all my lives, or I just wanted to play again. I've sunk so many hours into that game. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if this is a hot take, but I actually think I prefer the 2D Mario games to the 3D ones.
I do too.
I'm not sure that's a hot
from
take.
Like the ones I played. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like them both. I mean, I tend to play the 3D more consistently than I play the 2D, but I still enjoy both styles. They have their own charms to me. So.
No, I'm a huge Mario fan. Mario 64 is my first game I ever played in my life. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I played something earlier than that, but like I was like what, 3 years old, 2 years old when I played 3 years old. When Super Mario 64 came out, and 3D Mario's always been a little more special to me because that's what I grew up with more. Because I played Mario Sunshine, and Luigi's Mansion, and all them, and Mario Galaxy. But like 2D Mario is it's kind of hard to like think about because like I love them both almost equally, and even though I guess I prefer the 3D platformers, but it's because Super Mario World is so it's like arguably the greatest Mario game ever made, and Super Mario Brothers 1 and 3 and all of them. It's just like there's so many iconic Mario games in the franchise that it's kind of hard to like.
Yeah. You know, the
separate.
interesting thing is though, to think about is even though 2D Mario is obviously the genesis of the series and everything, I think even if we can sit here and say Super Mario Wonder is a brilliant game and one of the best Mario games ever made and so on, though the 3D games will always have more cultural pull, just because like for some reason 3D games are just they have more mainstream staying power, I guess.
I mean,
it's because they revolutionized.
I mean, 2D games. Yeah, I mean, like 2D games, you can only really do so much gameplay wise. You know, like it's always kind of left to right, or like just like keep on progressing in the same direction until you get to the end. You know, you can't have. I mean, to an extent, like you can't have like overly complex. Like in a Mario game, at least, you can't have like overly complex kind of jumping or like combat or maneuverability mechanics, because like you have to keep it fairly simple for how zoomed out you are.
Yeah.
Whereas 3D games, like like in Odyssey, you've got like like I've seen like some speedrunners play through Odyssey, and there's like tons of shit that they do, like with like jumping and like bouncing off walls, like using the hat as an extra platform, and like using that to chain between enemies and shit. Like,
yep,
bunch of stuff. Whereas that just can't be done in 2D.
Exactly, and that's what makes the Mario 3D games more iconic for people and more like popular, because they revolutionized gameplay. Like Mario 64 was obviously huge because it pretty much created 3D camera. Like the games didn't have that back then. Like you can do a 360 around the camera. Things we take for granted nowadays. And then like Mario Galaxy was just very different. Like it had in the Odyssey and like all them. They just all had, like memorable gameplay mechanics that like only Mario does well compared to like most franchises. Like it's one of the most consistent franchises because they always do something. They always find a way to do something unique that other games don't do. And I think that's why the 3D Marios stand out more. But this game is one of those for the 2D Marios. I think this game is sets this tone, sets like the stage for future Mario games. I think I can see an art style similar to this in the future. Because it sets a new world up for Mario. I think people are really gonna dig new enemies and the new, like just the crazy creative stages. I mean, the stages are just really fun. I mean, like there'd be like stage where like the piranha plants are just singing, and everything's on beat. It's kind of like Hi-Fi Rush. Like the whole stage is like on beat with everybody, and on your jumps. Like you know what I'm talking about. I love that about Hi-Fi Rush, and this game does that too. And it's like the subtlety in this game. It's like, and this game is gorgeous on Switch OLED. Like absolutely gorgeous on a handheld. It's the perfect handheld game. It's the standard for platformers at this point. I wish Nintendo. I wish Microsoft and PlayStation focus on platformers a little more too. I kind of miss Jak and Daxter and things like that. I mean, obviously this guy right here, like I absolutely like these. Yeah. To me, he's the mascot of PlayStation now, and I would love a new Astrobot, but Nintendo just does platformers so well. They own that genre.
Yeah, there was a moment there where it seemed like we were getting a 3D platformer revolution, a comeback.
Yeah.
With like the Crash remasters and Spyro and all that stuff. What happened there?
It just doesn't sell that much. Pretty much, platformers it's a thing that like hardcore platformers want, and then like but the majority of the audience doesn't buy them.
I mean, like Crash Insane Trilogy, I remember being sizably big even though I mean, I'm assuming it got good sales numbers, but like at least online it was fairly popular even nowadays. But I
Yeah.
don't remember seeing nearly as much excitement for like the Spyro remastered trilogy or
Yeah.
what you call it, or even like
That's
like
really-
some of the, like the like yeah, like Ukulele. I was trying to think of like like actual new IPs and stuff.
Yeah, but
And
Ukulele was just too much of a
yeah.
ripoff of Banjo. I mean, it was Banjo.
True.
Just too much.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Crash, the trilogy sold really well because nostalgia. Because that was Naughty Dog Crash Bandicoot. Like that's when Crash
Yeah.
Bandicoot was the best at the time. I don't think the Crash Bandicoot games after that ever lived up to the original Naughty Dog trilogy, in my opinion. But even though I think they're good games, I think the fourth one was pretty good. But it's just not as good as the first three, especially 2 and 3. I think 2 and 3 are the best of the series. And Spyro, I think it sold decently well, but I think they made money. But it's not like it's just not a huge money maker. And I think that's one of the reasons why
were like-
I would caution people about celebrating about Activision getting bought by Microsoft, because I don't see Microsoft just going going out of their way to make a Spyro game and a Crash game as soon as possible. So
Well, no, because they
Yeah,
need to
I mean,
make
they
a
were
video game
teasing
first.
it
yeah,
because of the Spyro anniversary or whatever of the game,
Yeah.
or maybe the anniversary of Spyro. I can't remember. They were like teasing some things, and like some rumors were going around, but yeah, nothing super concrete. And I mean, it sold pretty decently from what I remember when we looked at it last time. But yeah, nothing like that moves mountains or makes
Yeah.
Activision rethink
Yeah.
Toys for Bob or whatever.
I mean, the only platformer that sells a lot is Mario, because Mario is like Mickey Mouse of gaming. He's the most iconic video
Right.
game character of all time. Like, it's not even a debate, and he has that power. Mario is probably his biggest it's ever been. I mean, we have the movie that made over $1 billion. Super Mario World, the land in Universal Studios opened up in Japan and in California, and then now Orlando. Like, Nintendo is like as big as it's ever been, and Mario is as big as he's ever been. So obviously Mario can just slap his name on anything and sell. It has that power. There's certain franchises in gaming that just sell like that. So I don't get me wrong, I love Crash and I love Spyro, and I hope Xbox or Microsoft actually does something with them. But I'll be shocked if they do. Remember Activision and treated them like shit for like 20 years, and they slapped them. They made Crash Bandicoot turn into like a monster thing, or Spyro or something like that, and then they threw Spyro in the Skylanders for like 15 years or whatever. Like, he's been on the shelf for a long time. So it's a 90s kid nostalgia.
Yeah, I remember like when I remember like when I was like as a kid, like properly started getting into gaming, and like going to like the Video Easy like every week or two to like rent a game. I remember like it was around that time that like I don't know, but it's like those Spyro, like almost like God of War clone games came out, and like like Dawn of the Dragon, I think it is, whatever they're called, but it's like basically those Spyro games where it's like it's like it's not so much a platformer as it is like a beat 'em up type thing, and it was weird, man, even back then. And then I found out like recently apparently that like there was at least like 1 or 2 Spyro games where like Spyro was voiced by Elijah Wood, and then he had
Yeah.
I don't know a name, like a female Spyro.
At some
like,
point, he was
whatever.
voiced
Yeah,
by
that
That was
the
voiced
same
by
person who did,
Christina
like,
Ricci, and
Yeah. That's why I
He
didn't
was
play
done by
them.
the guy who did
Cinda.
like the Taco Bell commercials or whatever. I think
Yeah.
at one point,
I-
if I remember correctly,
I
like the
fe-
Chihuahua or whatever.
Oh yeah.
what
yeah.
the fuck?
I fell off Spyro
Yeah, okay.
after the original trilogy, like that. After the PS1,
Yeah.
I was kind of done with it.
Same.
And
Yeah.
but the
You know
problem.
what?
I'm
Go ahead.
I'm looking. Sorry, I'm looking at the IMDb cast list for Dawn of the Dragon. So Elijah Wood as Spyro, Christina Ricci as Cinder, Wayne Brady as Sparks.
Wayne Brady, bitch.
Wow.
That's the fucking the sparkly discount Tinkerbell thing. Jesus Christ. Okay, you've got Gary Oldman
What a
as
cast.
Ignitus.
That's the
Okay.
Activision money right there.
And then you have Mark Hamill as Malifaux, the Dark Master. Like Jesus, that is.
Mark Hamill does
So
everything
that's where all
nowadays.
the budget went.
Definitely.
Yeah, but like,
But-
like even then though, it's like Mark Hamill, like most times at least, when Mark Hamill's in something, he generally does a pretty damn good job.
Oh, absolutely.
That's,
Mark Hamill's one of my favorite voice actors. But
yeah,
to go back to 3D platformers, though, I think
yeah.
one of the challenges for 3D platformers is that it's hard to be revolutionary or innovative in that genre. Like, if you made a new Spyro game, what could you do that was different than like the previous Spyro games? Like, what could you possibly? It's gonna play like the Reignited trilogy. You can have new mechanics and things, but like you can't do the same thing you can do with like Mario. Mario could do like specific like flips and tricks you can like with the hat and things like that. I think what helps with Mario is that he's a human character, and when you have a human character, you can do more things. But when you have a character that's like runs on 4 legs, it's kind of like, you're a little more limited. So give credit to Nintendo for always just being innovative. But I like I said, even if I get a basic Spyro game in the future that's exactly like the original games, I'll be happy. Don't get me wrong. And it'll be on Game Pass too, so double bonus. Yeah.
Did we ever get a 3D platform, a Volvi 3D platformer?
Volvi.
Yes, it's the
We
best. It's the
should've.
best game ever made. Don't you remember?
Oh yeah, no.
Because
Steph's
I remember,
right.
I mean, I played Volvi 2.0 Cigarette Heist, but that was more of like a GTA clone.
Yeah.
So
What's
Yeah.
that mascot you really like from the Video Game Awards?
Hydrobot.
Hydrobot. They should make a Hydrobot game.
But
They made a Pepsi Man
They
game.
should make a
They should do
Hydrobot. They should make like a retro Hydrobot like platformer, like with like lots of '90s vibes. That'd be
For sure.
great.
Yeah, remember back in the day, they
Many-
like these corporations used to make like their own games. Like there was like the Burger King games, and there was like the Taco Bell had the demo discs.
Didn't,
and Pizza Hut.
I think
Pizza Hut.
I haven't watched it yet, but I think NoClip just released a documentary on the Burger King games.
Oh really?
Yeah.
actually,
Those are
Really?
actually-
That's incredible.
They were actually pretty decent. I remember having this was when I was like a kid, but I remember having fun with them for a little bit. I don't remember them being awful, or they probably are awful now. But you know what I'm saying? Like at the time,
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
them. I remember being entertained. I think one of them was a kart racer or something like that.
I mean, like going back to Assassin's Creed for a second. Like a lot of people say, going back to that first game is rough. Like,
Oh
it's
yeah, I
really
can't play the first
hard.
game. I think the first game's terrible. Even back then, in
Yeah.
2007, I thought it was a bad game. I thought Assassin's Creed took off in the second one. Even to this
Yeah.
day, the second
Yeah.
one is still my favorite one.
Yeah,
That and Black
I
Flag.
think Black Flag's
And,
my favorite. Yeah, Black Flag's my favorite. But I
and-
do love Assassin's Creed too.
Yeah.
and even then, it's like the parkour or like I think like it's not Venice. I don't think it is, but it's like I don't know. It's like the midpoint in Assassin's Creed 2 where it's like the buildings get a lot more like complex and like architectural, shall we say. The parkour and platforming just becomes like almost unbearable to me at that point. It's just too much
Yeah.
to handle.
I love
You know-
I love the Italian setting too. Go ahead.
Do you know my first Assassin's Creed game was on the iPod Touch? It was called, it was just called Assassin's Creed, but it wasn't Assassin's Creed 1. It was like a
I know the
mobile
one.
specific game that was like a side scroller, like a
Yeah.
3D side
Yep. Yep.
That
I
was
know the
fun.
one.
I wish
know
I
the
could
one.
play that again, but they like delisted it.
It
So
is.
you can't access it.
It is cool. I think it's probably on the Game Pass too, but on PlayStation Plus, it has the entire series. Even like the handheld ones are on there. Like a lot of them are anyway.
Probably not that one,
Probably not that
but
one. But that's the cool if you want to get in that series. Assassin's Creed 2 was iconic because I remember the storyline being really at the time like voice acting and acting were really starting to take off in gaming. I think. And I remember that game having legitimately great like dialogue and acting in it. Because I could be misremembering, but I remember that game generally being like, wow, like this video games can really have great voice acting. Because I feel like around like the maybe late 2000s is when like video games really started focusing on like cinematic Hollywood style voice acting and like storytelling. So yeah. That's like around Mass Effect and
R.I.P.
stuff.
R.I.P. Jill Sandwich. I'll always remember.
Yeah,
you
I
and
still
you
love the
with your
cheesiness. Get me
excellent
wrong. I mean, Resident Evil
Yeah,
still does
yeah,
it.
for sure.
They have. I mean, there's it's
Yes,
a serious
Resident Evil
game.
still does it.
They. I mean, look at Ethan. He's like he just gets his hand cut off and he just looks at his hand for like.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's like womp womp
Yeah.
womp.
Oh. Anyway,
Oh.
God, I hate that guy.
Yeah, we should probably move on.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about. So next game we're gonna talk about is Alan Wake 2, which which surprised me in the sense that I did not expect it to get a 90 something on Metacritic. It's like not just
No.
not one of the best games of the year, but like one of the greatest survival horror games ever made. Good. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
And in my
No,
opinion,
yeah.
from what I played maybe 5-6 hours. To me, it might be. I think it's probably the greatest survival horror game of the year. I think it's better than Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space.
Wow.
Wow.
But I'll talk about that part later on. So
Do you guys mind if I dip for this one? Because I don't want to
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
anything
go ahead.
about it.
oh yeah, we're not gonna say
Oh, that's
spoilers
sad,
though.
man.
I didn't plan on.
No,
saying
I know, but
anything.
it's cool. Let me know when you're done.
Oh,
okay.
okay. So I'll just do this like.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll notice. Hopefully you'll notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Who wants to start?
Man, fucking James, right? No.
Agreed. Solid agree. He's never gonna go back and listen to
So-
this.
So you guys have both like what 5, 6 hours?
I'm
into
5 hours. I just finished the first time you switch back to Saga after being Alan
Yes.
for a little bit. I just got to that point.
Yep. Okay.
That's where I'm at too.
Okay. And you said.
That's where
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
at.
Okay.
great.
So I've played.
Great.
I've played a bit ahead of you guys. I think I'm like halfway through Saga's next chapter or whatever. It's basically like I'm basically in like the area that they showed off in like the recent previews in like the fair.
Right,
yeah,
when she goes to the
fairground.
carnival and stuff
Sorry.
like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Supremely creepy vibes there, I must say. Lots of
Supremely
exploration
creepy,
to do.
absolutely.
It's fantastic. Yeah, I was honestly surprised at I had I had 7, 8 out of 10 expectations for the game.
Mhm.
I was not expecting 9 out of 10s or in GameSpot's
10s?
case 10 out of 10s.
Yeah, there are some 10s
Yeah,
out there
was-
that a few 10s that I saw. I was impressed.
I did tell you.
Yeah,
I do remember
I
saying I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends up being my top. Like this is like the last game left of the year after Spider-Man that's gonna could
Yeah.
possibly make my top 10.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect it to be
Yeah.
as good as it is though.
Yes. for
No,
sure.
no. And thing is too is that Control also got at least a couple 10 out of 10s and a decent number
It
of
was
9s out
IGN's
of
game
10s.
of the year. I remember.
Yeah.
What-
I remember playing Control and this is a solid 8 maybe.
Yeah, I would.
it's
I never understood
agree.
that. I never understood IGN's love for
I
I never
Control.
understood.
I mean, it's a good game.
Game of the year.
It's a 8 something. Yeah,
It's a good game.
It's a
Mm.
good game. It's in the 8s
Yeah.
for me, but nothing game of
For
the
sure.
year-ish.
I agree. with that.
There's too much needless item management in that game with mods and stuff to
The map
make
is
it
horrible too. The map
Yeah,
is
exactly.
That's
really
my
bad.
biggest problem was
Exactly.
the map was confusing as hell. I spent
Yeah,
half the game just getting
exactly.
lost. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I do want to, while we're talking about the
Um,
map, I will say that's my biggest gripe with Alan Wake so far is that, and I know
Interesting.
it's partially on me because first off, I don't like it being hidden behind the Mind Palace. I wish there was just one button you could press to get to the map. That's nitpicking.
You can.
But I wish you could just
You can.
press a button and see the map.
You can.
Instead, you
can.
You
can?
can.
Because
Yeah.
as far as I saw,
Yeah,
you had
yeah,
to press
you
You
the
hit the
press
middle
the
Mind
button.
Palace.
The left side of the middle button.
Oh,
The
okay.
left side of the
All right.
touchpad.
Well, then-
Yeah,
So you
Yeah.
press the right.
Cracked it.
You press the right side of the touchpad to go to the.
That's
Mind Palace,
right.
and
They
touch
did
the
tell
left
me that
side
at the
to go to
beginning, and I
With-
was like, I couldn't
I-
understand what the fuck
I
this
forgot
meant
that as
or
well.
this
With,
meant.
with that said,
Yeah.
I can tell you
Yeah.
how many times I accidentally put myself in the Mind Palace trying to hit the map.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wish they
Yeah,
picked a different
for sure.
button
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah, or you could
Yeah.
remap buttons. That would be great too.
Although fortunately,
I'm like-
fortunately,
but
it's instant. Like it takes you to the Mind Palace instantly. Like the SSD
Yeah.
really shows its power
Yes.
in this
Yeah.
game. Because
It's so good. I remember
think-
the first time I had Saga use the door, just boom, right there, just right out of the Mind Palace. Like holy shit!
Yeah.
It just loaded all that in an instant. But about
I-
the map, really briefly.
Yeah.
I just want to say it at 5 hours in, it's really easy, at least for me, to get turned around. It's not terrible, all right.
Mhm.
It's not. And I still think, by the way, I'm probably on the lower end of being hot on this game. I still think it's a great game, by the way. And you all know my thoughts on the original. I was not a fan, and I stopped about halfway through, maybe more, maybe less.
Yeah.
But this is everything I wanted the first game to be. But yeah, the map can be a little confusing. I spent a lot of time getting lost in the subway, getting lost around some of the side trails when you're trying to go back to the less flooded areas after you rescue a certain person. So it's so at times it can be a little frustrating, but I will say, on the other hand, usually when I reach that point of frustration, like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna look it up. I like look to the left of me, like big neon sign, go here, you dumbass. So so it's not terrible. I wish it was a little better, but it's not as bad as Control was, at least.
I honestly just learned to especially like the first that Cauldron Lake area. I just kind of learned to not rely on the map, and I just kind of like went off memory mainly.
Yeah.
Which definitely worked better in my favor, because I'm like, oh, I remember this from like such and such, like a couple of hours ago, or like I remember this was the trail we took down at the very start of the game. Stuff like that. I think one, like on the exploration, I think the one nitpick I have on this game, which isn't even really on the game itself, it's more so just on me, but this game constantly has me doing that really annoying thing where it gives you basically free reign to go and roam anywhere pretty much, but have you ever had those moments where it's like, oh, it's like, I know like my main objective is right here, but I want to start exploring over here, but then like you find out that the area you're exploring is like a lot bigger and a lot more complex than you initially thought. It's like, oh wait, am I supposed to go here later on? Like, am I spoiling something for myself that I can experience later on? It's like, it's more so a me problem.
Yeah.
But it's like, like I do appreciate how like in games, like, even though it's probably a bit more contingent game design, I do appreciate how like in certain games, like, The Last of Us, for instance, they like just so conveniently have like, oh, this door is locked, so like I can only explore this other area so far, because like like I have to come back here later and like it'll spoil a surprise or like some event for me or something like that. This game doesn't seem to have that, but it's not so much a problem as it is just a minor annoyance, and like it's really just on me for sticking my nose in other places.
Yeah, I don't have that experience, especially with these kind of games like Last of Us and this one, in that like I always follow a collectibles guide, so I'm never in that situation where I'm like, I know where, like I follow like, oh, you need to go here to get this, because Alan Wake, like the first one, has a lot of collectibles, charms. They give you a lot of charms. To give you stat boosts.
Too many collectibles.
I went through even as of like probably a couple of weeks ago, like just before Spider-Man came out, I was trying to go through the first Alan Wake game again, trying to get all like the collectibles and manuscript pages and stuff, but there's just too damn many of them. It's like I was like racing through. I was racing through the game as quick as I could on like the easiest difficulty even, and it's like I didn't even make it halfway through the game. I think the time Spider-Man 2 came out, like
I don't feel overwhelmed with the collectibles in this game. But no. I only thing I don't like is sometimes you have to walk like all the way across the map to get one of them. But they're very beneficial. Like the charms gives you stat boost, and then I think the only collectible I would say there's too many of is the ones on the walls where you aim the flashlight at the wall and it gives you a stat. It gives you like a specific like stat boost to a skill.
Yeah.
Like there's too many of those.
I do think they're a fun enough collectible to like come across though, like because it's like you just like, it's literally the definition of like you catch like something in the corner of your eye and it's like, oh well, I guess I gotta go pursue it. Then the only time it really annoyed me is when like I came across one towards the end of Alan's like chapter in the subway, and like I had all these arrows pointing towards this specific area, but there was like a freaking like just like some kind of panel in front of the word, so I couldn't actually shine my light on it yet, even though like all the arrow, like I could see the top of the like little word spiral thing,
Yeah.
but I no matter what, I couldn't, like shoot or like sort of remove that plank out of the way. So I'm like, well, what am I like? I'm guessing I'm supposed to come back later to finish it off.
Yeah.
But but before I like get into general story stuff as well, I do want to say with the exploration, I'm surprised at how open it really is. Like I was fully expecting this to be like a more linear kind of story game, like the first one, where it's like, you're in a chapter, you're just in that one set area, like, there's a couple branching paths and stuff that you can have a look at, but generally speaking, like, you're on the one like track the whole game. Whereas in this, it's like it's basically the same as Control, whereas like you've got just like, you've got a bunch of like really big, super interconnected, hubs. But basically, like, like each area is like its own RPD.
Yeah.
Or its own,
Yeah.
like mansion from Resident Evil type thing.
Yeah, I would say.
Which really surprised me.
Yeah, I would say this is Remedy's gold crown. Like, this is their crown jewel. I mean,
Yeah.
crown jewel. It's like a nice mix of all the games together. And like everything, all
Yeah.
the other games did well combined
Yeah.
into one. I feel like they mastered
Yeah.
all the things they wanted to do in their games, and
Yeah.
I think that's they got like Control's map, like a better version of it, like a open area where you can explore. They still have the Alan Wake's
Yeah.
like foundation, like it still has like the flashlight on the enemies and the dodging and
Yeah.
collecting manuscripts and all that stuff, and the and it has the seamless live action stuff too that like Control had, and
And it's even more seamless in this game as well. Like they go between them so much more frequently, especially on Alan's side of things.
They have lots of cool Control little Easter eggs too. I won't talk about too many, but I mean, in
Yeah.
trailers, Ati has already been shown. So
yeah.
I don't,
Yeah.
And the Federal Bureau of Control literally shows up in like the first hour of the game.
Yeah, I
So,
love
in a very minor role.
I love
but
that they're
still.
all connected,
yeah.
the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually said this, replied to someone on Threads about this, but I'm like, hold on. It's like there are obvious nods to Control, especially, but I mean, like, they're not so much nods as they are equivalent to Tony Stark showing up in Spooderman homeschooling, for example. But like, it's like,
Yeah. That's how Control ended.
I
right?
kind of, yeah, and like, I mean, I actually recently went back and played the AWE DLC or expansion for Control, and I mean, like, the expansion itself was pretty mid, but it's like its ending was definitely like, even like well before Alan Wake 2 was announced. Like, I didn't even know how I didn't pick up on it, but it was like as obvious an Alan Wake 2 is coming announcement as you could get.
Sure.
And I'm like I have no idea how I missed that all the way back then.
So
obviously I didn't play it, but
yeah. So let's talk about the visuals, since we're talking about the seamless transition to live action.
Yeah.
This game's visuals is amazing. Like, I'm playing on PS5, and if I had played on my PC, it'd probably be even better. It does have some moments here and there where there's some like pop-ins and things like that. But nothing like
I've
too
noticed.
crazy.
I've noticed anti-aliasing is a big issue in this game, especially like there's a lot of puddles and a lot of water in this game.
There's a lot of ray tracing.
And-
yeah.
and the anti-aliasing on like, all
Insomniac,
those
eat your heart
puddles and
out.
like reflections
Yeah.
are like, I don't want to say rough, and like I am on performance mode obviously, so it's like
Same.
I can only complain so much.
Default was
before-
quality, so I just went with default. It's
I can't
been
play in
mostly
30.
Okay for
I just
me.
can't play in 30. I'm 60 guy.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah. I have noticed a couple frame rate, or like not so much dips, but like stutters, like especially in the subway area for some reason. I noticed
it's very minor
a few
though.
dips there, but it's like
yeah.
it's negligible.
It's
like,
not
like
Jedi-
for
it's not
I
Jedi
don't know
Survivor.
why. Like
Yeah.
no, no. I've honestly ever since Jedi Survivor has come out, I've now been like with the exception of Spider-Man, because obviously, you know, like I have faith in Insomniac. With almost every game I pre-order now, I'm worried that it's going to be another Jedi Survivor situation. Like, I know the obvious solution is like, well, just don't pre-order, or you know, like wait for reviews to come out, yada yada yada. But like, it's like I don't know why, but like for some reason leading up to this game, I was like so worried that like the console ports especially were just going to be super rough and technically inconsistent stuff. Not at all. Not at all. Like the game runs,
even then,
for the most part, great.
Even then, it's tricky with reviews because a lot of the reviewers get like a patch zero, like a buggy version of the game, and like when we get it, like day one, it's usually like a lot of things are patched in, so it can be tricky sometimes. You have to keep an eye out. You have to keep an eye out for the news and people on Twitter and threads.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I think IGN and games, like, you know, like the big outlets, like, you know, are good for like generally they're good for getting some general talking points and like knowledge about like what people think. But then it's like, I think the only people I really watch for like actual insight, like Skill Up is the big one.
Yeah, even then, sometimes I disagree with him.
I mean, funnily enough, I disagree with him on certain games and things almost as much as I agree with him on it, but like he articulates his points well enough that it's like, okay, I can see what you mean.
I just think
here, you know,
I'm not a big fan of IGN's reviews really at all, like for most of the part, like but I'm not one of those like IGN sucks. I don't they gave Spider-Man an 8. I'm not reading their articles ever again. Even though I don't understand, even though we'll talk about it in the Spider-Man review, I guess, but I just don't understand saying like this is the greatest Spider-Man game ever made, or this is so much better than the first two games. 8 out of 10. What? Anyway, I never get reviews like that. Or IGN will do like this. This game absolutely sucks. The story sucks. Characters suck. Setting sucks. Music sucks. 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
Huh? Like, give the game a 5 or a 4 if you like. I don't understand why they're so afraid to be like do that. But whatever.
The only time I've like actively not disliked, but like actively like disagreed, like passionately disagreed with IGN is for both of their Death Stranding reviews. Like, why the fuck would you get your racing games guy to review Death Stranding?
I'll never forget when they got Ryan McCaffrey to like do like NBA 2K or something. It was like somebody that doesn't fit like this at all. So the worst reviews ever was Days Gone. Like, that was where like I didn't understand any of the criticisms, especially IGN. But that's an example. I'm saying is the game when they got it was buggy as shit, and when I got it, it was like I had 0 issues pretty much gameplay, like, frame rate. Anyway, back to Alan Wake. Exactly. But even though it has some performance problems here and there, for the most part, it's a beautiful, gorgeous game. Like, the character models look amazing, and the lighting's amazing.
This is. I mean, it's definitely helped by the fact that they're in the Northwest. But even like taking that aside, like when you have Alan Wake in the Dark Place, which is basically New York City, but not quite New York City, like even that looks stunning. Incredible.
Absolutely.
I have it on quality. I have it on quality mode, which I don't usually do, but it was the default, so I just went with it. And I haven't run into many issues. Maybe a little visual blurring every now and then, but I just turned that off. So the visuals have been stunning.
I think the pop-ins come from the fact that like it transitions to the mine place so quickly that like if you hit the button really quick on accident, like the game kind of gets confused, popping things in. I think a lot of my problems came from that.
I mean this is more Alan Wake 2 related, but I actually think that this is a better use, or like at least a more stunning use of the SSD than Spider-Man 2 was. And like granted, Spider-Man 2 didn't do a great deal innovative or like major with the SSD and like its loading times for the most part.
Only one mission.
But one mission specifically. But like in Alan Wake 2, it's like constant like seamless, there's no way they could have done this on there's no way they could have done this on a PS4 or like anything before that, unless they went PC exclusive.
Oh, absolutely. This game is made. I feel like this game is made for the higher end PCs, and it's almost. Have you seen the? Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen the PC specs? Like I haven't looked too much into them, but like
It's very
everyone
high-end.
I've seen is saying like,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
It's almost a miracle that they got this game to run on
Um,
console. Obviously they had
well,
to,
because like
but
yeah, I mean like everyone, because like that's what was kind of what kind of fueled some of my like concerns early on, is that like I saw how demanding the PC specs were, so like kind of naturally just think, oh god, that's like, you know,
yeah, Cyberpunk all
if
over
it's a
again.
lot for PC, how, yeah, exactly, like how a console's gonna fare, they fare perfectly fine.
Yeah, but overall,
Which is great.
I like the city looks gorgeous. I haven't been blown away
Mm.
by that since like Resident Evil 2 remake. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
and I said it in the Discord.
I
The city setting I really love. I love you can explore the city. I hope
Yeah.
there's more elements to that. 'Cause like I said, that's one of my problems with Resident Evil 3 remake was that you couldn't really explore the city as much. Everything was so scripted and linear.
No.
Where like I feel like this game has a little
Yeah.
better exploration, but
I will say as a counterpoint to that I just personally like I prefer that with this game with RE3 just because, and that's not just me being an RE3 defender, but like I got turned around so much. It took me forever to find that Alan was supposed to go down this stupid alley to find Sam Lake and trigger
Right.
the cutscene. That took me like
Oh,
10
really?
minutes, and I finally found and I finally found him, and I was like, "Oh, this is what I was supposed to be doing." With RE3, I would never have that issue. I
Yeah.
understand
Mm.
linear games can have
For
their
better
own
and
sets of
for
issues.
worse, yeah.
yeah.
Yes,
My-
and,
yeah.
but yeah, that can be frustrating to me.
Alan Wake,
I think
I got stuck on the subway
yeah.
part, like trying to find like how to unlock
Yes.
the subway, like opening it up.
I had
Oh,
to keep
same.
like the light switches and the switching the scenes and stuff. Like I got so confused about like what combination they wanted
Yeah.
me to do, and like it took me a little bit.
Yeah, I think
But, yeah,
I think that's
I-
I think that's a genuine
On,
not I'll say problem with the game, but it definitely could explain things a little better. I know this game
Yeah.
is meant to be
Yeah.
hardcore and make you figure it out, but sometimes I think
Yeah,
it could tell you a little more things. Like it.
I agree.
I
Yeah,
think,
that's my biggest problem overall with Alan Wake is I just wish it had a better relationship communication wise with the player. Sorry, Mitch, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, well, actually, but before I get on to my point about Alan's sections, I literally, where I left the game off last night, there was a puzzle that you had to do to like progress the story to like get a key for something, and I hesitate to say it was the hardest puzzle, but it was like probably the most obtuse puzzle. Like it's actually one that kind of made me think about things, and like it had me stumped for like a good two, like probably like maybe 5 or so minutes, but really only in the sense that like, but like the thing about it is like it's one of those puzzles that's like it does make you think like it really makes you think about it from like all possible like angles, like even obtuse ones, to, like get like, oh, well, like what's the combination for this, like, you know, what do you get? But then like when I did figure out what the code was,
Yeah.
it was like one of those like brilliant like, oh, of course, and like you put it in and it's like you feel so smart, like it's, and there are quite a few of those puzzles as well in the game, like some easier than others, but
Yeah.
that's like even I don't think RE2 remake even had the amount of those moments, at least this consistently early on.
Yeah,
than
Resident Evil puzzles are
Alan Wake 2 does.
Resident Evil puzzles are usually just pretty simple. They're usually like shapes.
Yeah, and
basically.
yeah, usually like they're more like they're not so much like code or
Yeah.
combination based. Like in this game, it's more so
Yeah.
like, you know, you got to put like two gears together, and you got to like, you know, let this like serum or whatever like balance correctly. Whereas this, it's like it actually makes you like take stock of like you know, certain environmental clues and like stuff like that makes you feel like, you know, super big brain and super
Yeah.
smart.
Well, let's use that to transition to the gameplay in terms of
Yeah,
like the mind place
Yeah.
and figuring things out, because this game you have
Yeah.
to piece together evidence, which I see. This is where I start to really love this game, and why I start thinking, oh, it's my favorite survival horror game of the year. Is that it's almost tailor made for me, because I'm a big fan of true crime. I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
survival horror. I'm a big fan of Twin Peaks. I
Yeah.
really like Twin Peaks. Like I like that
Yeah.
FBI go
True
investigate some
detective
true
and-
detective thing.
True Detective.
And
Yeah.
I'm so even like the first like 30 minutes of the game, I was so engrossed in the mystery. Like who did this? Who's the
Yeah.
cult? What are they doing? I mean, I mean, I didn't expect to start off with like a big fat naked guy getting murdered.
No.
But it set the tone
Yeah,
really well.
it
Though.
was so
It set the
funny
tone
too.
really well.
I was like,
yeah.
It was so
Yeah.
funny too, because like one of the settings is like censor nudity, and I was like, "There's nudity in the game? That's kind of weird."
Yeah,
Start
yeah,
off big
I thought
fat
that
naked
too.
guy coming out from the lake. I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right."
But it set the tone
Hey,
really
they
well.
get-
Actually.
they do not shy away from showing that dong. You know, they
No,
do not at
That
all.
dong,
Not even
dong,
for a
dong,
second.
dong.
No hesitation. No
Which is funny
No
because
hesitation.
Alan Wake was rated T, I believe, the first one. So.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
But anyway,
I don't think they even said fuck in that game, which is like it's surprising since
No,
like one of
Alan
the very
is
first.
like the edgiest like WWF
Yeah.
superstar I've ever heard in my life. Like fuck, fuck,
Like
fuck.
yeah, like
I'm like Alan.
like one
my
of the-
goodness.
like one of the very first things he says in the game. I'm pretty sure, or at least like once you get to play as him, is like fuck, and I'm like, oh okay, like
but
that's probably the biggest.
Fuck me.
but
Yeah, exactly.
I can see why some people might not like that, but I really like piecing the evidence together. It makes me
No,
feel like
I'm-
it makes me feel
I'm
like a big
totally-
brain, like I'm figuring it out myself. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm totally with you, Seb. I mean, in theory, I really like that stuff. In practice, I kind of just fling stuff around, and eventually it all fits together. I know that's not how they want you to play it, and I'm with you. I like that detective stuff, so I don't know why I'm like this, but I'm just like I don't want to keep zooming in,
X,
and
X,
moving
X,
around,
X, X.
zoom out, moving around. Yeah, it just like gets
Yes.
tedious. But I love the
Yeah.
idea. I love the idea. I think it's a really cool idea. I'm with you. I love True Detective. I love Twin Peaks. I have a real soft spot for like noir and detective stories, which is very weird given my
yeah,
general stance on police, which is not positive most of the time for good reason, I think.
Yeah.
But I have a big soft spot for detective stuff like this. Plus, they're doing actual important
Yeah.
work, trying to find murderers. I love what they're going for. I don't do
Yeah.
the mechanic as I think they want me to. Whereas I just kind of place in random shots and Saga keeps going, no, nope, nope. And I'm like, Saga, shut the fuck up. But yeah, it's still a lot of fun, and I still like it. I just, like I said, I don't like. I'm moving all around, zooming in, zooming out, moving over here.
Yeah.
It's a little clunky, and sometimes these are like nitpicks, but like sometimes you'll put a photo on the correct line, but it just won't quite be to the left enough
I
to
agree with
press
that.
X, and Saga will say
Yeah.
no, and I'm like, no, but that is where it goes, and
Yeah.
then I just move it a couple inches to the left.
Yeah, I agree with
And
that.
Saga's like, yeah, now it makes sense.
Yeah, that is a problem.
yeah.
Yes, but it's not a big deal. It's a nitpick, and I love the system in general.
Yeah. I will say though, like big plus is the fact that I love how, at least for Saga, like they've made the case board basically the entire like menu for the game. Like, like that's where you track your collectible progress.
It's
That's
seamless.
where you
Yeah.
it's like it works so well. Like it's such an interesting way, especially like, tracking collectibles. It's just such a unique way to track that.
Yeah.
And it's like they even, and then like, like say for like these lunch boxes and stuff that you come across, there's like, you have like the collectible progress of like, okay, this area, this is how many are left to find, this is how many I've got. But then it's like they like add on to it. It's like, it's like there's also points like, oh, who made these boxes, or like who's leaving these messages behind, stuff like that. And it's like it elevates it to like, not so much an afterthought or like, a cool gimmick to display like menus and stuff. It's like actually using that mechanic or that idea to its fullest.
Yeah.
Same like, and like I'd say this for like both Alan and Saga's like sort of mind palaces, whatever. It's like the fact that like it's a fully explorable room, and it's like,
Yes.
you can like, you just like, you look to one side and like that's where
there-
your like weapon upgrade benches, or like this is where like you can view manuscripts and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
There's little Easter eggs too, like Saga has this like not the worst mom cup, or like the first prank she pulled on Sam Lake's
Casey,
character, Casey, Alex Casey. Just little things like that, like bring the space to life. It doesn't just feel like it's a glorified like area where I can do gameplay
And
abstractly.
the cool thing about it as well is that like when I was like sort of like playing the game for the first time, the second you arrive in Bright Falls, instead of like, you know, following Casey or like go to the diner, I actually just explored like everything around me for a little bit, and I actually came across like the like little the room that they had set up in like the hotel by myself. It was such a cool moment. Like I mean, for everyone else, like they're naturally taken there in the story anyways. But like because I was doing some exploring, I just like opened the door, came across that room on my own, and I'm like, it was like that kind of like, holy shit, this is my room, you know, like that moment. And then it's like I explored other areas of the hotel, so like I found like Casey's room, so it's like, you know, like on the first day or whatever, it's like, you know, there's a note in his hotel room, it's like, you know, like notes is like, you know, track down the name of this cold, and it's like at the bottom of his notes like, find out the name of that coffee or of that good coffee from the diner or whatever. And then it's like the day after, or like, you know, the next time I started playing as Saga, I went back to his room, and there's just like fucking coffee cups like littered everywhere all over his room, and like all his bed sheets are torn up.
I'm just waiting for him to say, like, take a sip and say, that's a really good cup of coffee, or something like that. Like a little wink and a nod.
Like, yeah, it's like it really, like, even if you don't physically get anything, like no like resources or items or anything, like certain areas like are just like really great for exploring, and like just like fun little like, you know, visual gags and stuff you can come across that really kind of brings the world to life.
Last thing.
Yes, before we move on to Alan,
yeah. I was gonna say, last thing I want to say about the gameplay, or maybe we should bring James back soon, because he's been over.
There's a couple of things we haven't hit on the gameplay yet. Still,
James.
So. Oh, okay. Well, I want to talk about the gunplay and all that stuff.
That's what I'm.
So as y'all know, I'm more into action horror, right? I like RE3 more than and this is where Seb boots me from the podcast. But I like I prefer RE3's combat. And the way that works over RE2. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I prefer RE4 make over both. And I prefer Dead Space and stuff like that. So I like my survival horror more action focused and less concerned with resources and item management. But I don't mind that stuff. And I feel like Alan Wake so far is really balancing that very well. Now again, I'm only 5 hours in. I know it's like a 20-hour game, so only 1/4 through. So maybe that'll change. But so far, I've actually, it feels like,
I've actually heard that potentially it could take like 10 to 15 to 20 hours to complete either of their campaigns, depending on how much exploration you do. So could potentially be even longer than 20 hours, which is, quite insane to think about.
That's probably if you're trying to 100% everything, I'd imagine.
Yes, probably.
Yeah. Like 20 hours is like probably like the most.
I feel like the gunplay is really good. It's really solid. The aim assist is good as well. I feel like whenever my bullets connect, like it really feels like they're connecting. And I don't know what the fuck the disconnect is for me, especially the shotgun. Yeah, I've only used it a couple times, so I'm trying to use it sparingly. But yeah. I actually beat the first boss without the shotgun because I didn't know that the code was on the desks in the same building. I barely beat him, to be clear. It wasn't like a clean sweep. I was almost dead, and I was I guess I'm gonna die. No, I didn't. I was like very low on resources. Yeah, I know. I barely beat him.
I died so many times.
I didn't die at all either, actually.
Okay.
I've only died once.
I guess you just suck.
And it's because sometimes the camera will like be fucked up while you're trying to fight them, or like the darkness will kind of like surround you and you can't fucking see what's going on, so you'll get blindsided or whatever.
That one boss was a little janky. That first boss was a little like the area was a little too small for that fight.
It was too small and it was too narrow, but it was still, I don't know. Quick. I feel like it's the better version. It was quick, and it's still. Anyway. I think it's actually the better version of the Rat King fight in Last of Us 2. That fight
really
that was more frustrating because he had a one-hit kill move.
Yes, true. Yes. No, that's what I'm saying. This was the better. This was the better version of that because Rat King had a fucking one-hit kill.
Yeah, Rat King is the reason why I would never go for like no death run.
Yes. Oh, fuck that. But yeah, I just want to say the gunplay is really
yeah,
good. I don't know what the disconnect is between me
It's
not liking RE2 chunky combat as much as I like Alan Wake 2.
I think-
It's not a huge difference.
well, because
but
I mean,
I prefer the
this
Alan
is
Wake 2.
more.
Yeah.
I think like best way I can describe it is like this game has like the like tension and like kind of pace of like RE2 remake, just with the combat and enemies of The Last of Us 2. That's the best way I can describe it, because like it's like, I mean, like this game still has like, shout out to the gore in this game, man, because like I was playing that, like, you know, that first boss, especially with the way I was like doing damage to him, like at a certain point, just like his fucking like intestines were like literally just like hanging down out of him, like I could see the inside of his rib cage and his skull.
Yeah, the
It's like,
details were really good.
like, I think
it was like Dead Island 2, good.
yeah. I mean, like Dead Island 2 still clears it, but like,
Yeah,
that's
for
first
sure.
person. But like, still,
sure.
it's like it was like
It
shockingly
does.
impressive.
Yeah.
And I mean, James isn't here to hear it, but like I was genuinely disappointed that there wasn't a photo mode. Even just like something for me to like kind of pause the combat and like actually
That's
zoom
surprising.
in to get a
Yeah.
better look at the details.
Yeah.
I was surprised at that.
Yeah, that is surprising. They didn't do photo mode at all. I saw people getting mad about that. I mean, it doesn't affect me, but I was like, yeah, it's kind of weird they didn't include that at all.
It's a weird
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
miss, I guess, but either way, yeah.
In terms of the gameplay, I got like, just to add on what you guys are saying, I think Last of Us Part 2 is more fluid. Obviously, I mean that's the greatest third-person shooter
Yes,
of all time.
I agree.
But
I agree.
this gameplay reminds me a lot of Resident Evil 3 remake. Even with the dodge, like it's better than Resident Evil 3's dodge, but Resident Evil 3's dodge was finicky at best.
I feel like Alan and Saga are both, and I am cribbing this from like another review. I feel like they're both dealing with like herniated backs or something. The way that they like move down to the side,
Especially
I don't know if they're trying
Alan.
to do like a Sasha Banks Mercedes Moné thing,
Yeah.
or like I don't know what they're doing, but it looks very strange.
Alan especially, I like, how is that dude not throwing his back out every time he touches?
I know.
I think the shooting is it's not. I don't think it's great, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. I think it gets the job done. I don't think it's anything memorable.
Yeah.
It's the same as the first game. Basically, you aim the flashlight at the enemies and then you shoot them. It's pretty much the same as the first game.
Funny thing about
it's
that.
pretty good. Yeah.
I'm at least so. This might just be a me thing, but at least I feel for certain, like in the first game, it was like like there was a clear set rule. It's like, all right, you shine the light on the enemies first, like to get away their darkness shields, then you shoot them until they're dead. Like that's what all of the combat boiled down to, every single enemy.
Yeah.
In Alan Wake 2 though, like all the human enemies, they're basically the same. Like you focus your flashlight beam and then you can like shoot them.
Yeah.
But then for certain enemies, like the wolves or like animals you come across, they don't need that to be done to them, or at least like it has like no effect on them.
You can shoot them
and
from
then
the light.
then and like from
for
the boss as well,
I think.
Yeah. For the like for the first boss as well, like I mean obviously like when you first come across him, you have to shine the light on him and like his shield goes down, but then it's like afterwards it's like it was kind of unclear whether I had to keep on doing that or not. And like honestly, if in all honesty, I think that's probably why I died a couple times, because like, you know, it's like I shined the light on him like for the first time, the shield went away, but then like even when I was in the same areas, like if he grabbed me and like, you know, I had to use the flashlight to escape, it still had that sound cue as if there was more stuff to like, you know, like more stuff to burn off him or something.
Yeah.
But like that wasn't communicated well enough. Like again, it's probably a me thing. I haven't come across that same issue really since then. Mm-hmm. But it's still like I'm interested to see like sort of how it goes for the rest of the game. One thing I don't like either is the fact that, I mean, again, it's a nitpick. The fact that like for the flashlight focus beams in this one, like it's a set bar that just depletes like every single time. Like you can't actually control how long you focus it for. Yeah. I get that it's like for survival horror stuff, but it's like I kind of wish like how like it was kind of in the first game, where it's like you just kind of like at least like held like, you know, the left trigger, say for instance, like down a bit further, and then it's like you can do a certain amount. I get it that like it doesn't like recharge on its own, that's fine, but the fact that it's like a set bar every time, so like if you accidentally waste it, it's gone.
Yeah.
Which negligible.
Yeah, it hasn't affected me that much.
I
Personally.
no.
Yeah, but I have one criticism I have for this game, for gameplay wise. Well, not I guess it's gameplay, but
Yeah.
is the jump scares. I think I feel like they're cheap.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they're just needed. I don't feel like they contribute. They don't really add anything. Like maybe
It's blown in the game, and it did startle me once or twice, but it does seem a little excessive. I don't think it's
10 times at this point.
It happens too often. It happens. That's the only big thing. If it just happened less often, I think it'd be fine.
I'll say once.
I will say.
Go ahead, James. Go, Mitch.
Yeah. I was gonna say. I will say. I have the same exact issue as you guys, but Saga's like next area, like at the amusement park carnival thing, that's where the tension gets legitimately creepy, and like I did get startled a decent few times, even just like exploring and like coming across stuff like it. I think in that area at least the horror does get a lot better. Same again, like I'll let you say your thing first there, because like I think what I say leads into a greater point or criticism I have.
I was gonna say though, like where the jump scares really shine is more of like when the first boss first wakes up in the morgue, like that. Like you kind of figure he's gonna wake up, but that was genuinely like an awesome scare. Like the jump, like the flashing, where like someone screams at you is just kind of It's a cheap.
Honestly,
it's cheap.
The Dead Space ending.
One of the scariest things so far in the game is when you're in the dark place as Alan, and some of one of the shadows comes out and just says "wake" or "Alan wake." Like every fucking time it unnerves me. I'm like, it's just the way that they say it.
Yeah.
And like it's so out of nowhere, and like sometimes you won't even see them until you're right next to them.
Yeah.
And so it's just it's really unsettling in a good way.
Are you guys playing with headphones, or are you playing on the TV? Like, are you playing?
I've just got my speaker right in front of me. But it's like the sound design's
usually with these.
Yeah.
The sound design's still good enough that it's like, even with like just having my speaker in front of me, it's still like I'm super immersed all the way. Mm-hmm. One thing, to more on Dory's point, the best place about like Alan's sections so far is the fact that like you just have all those shadows there, and it's like just that tension of like, okay, which one's gonna pop out and like want to attack me, which ones are like just not gonna do anything. Right. So it's like I'm just constantly like slow walking, like shining my light at them, like well, not like focusing it, but like just like taking my time, like sometimes I'll like have my gun out and ready, like in case I think someone's gonna come up to me, and it's like they'll like storm towards me, but then like they'll dissipate at the last second. It's like that stuff is so good. It's so good. I am interested to see like how people who like have like even just semi poor eyesight will go with these sections, because even for me it was like sometimes like with all the visual effects and like bloom and like stuff that was going on, it was hard at a few points to like actually figure out like, okay, is something actually there, or like is that just the light reflecting off of it?
To add to your point, I think what makes this game the best survival horror game for me this year, even though I think Dead Space and Resident Evil 4 Remake are amazing games. Yeah. I think those games have better like gameplay, like in terms of shooting and stuff. But I think where this game really shines, is the tension and the atmosphere. Like those games have that too. But it's something about this game, the creativity. I think what makes this game the best out of those games is the creativity. It's the uniqueness. It's the Remedy patent. Yeah, it's the uniqueness to it. Yeah. Live action, the combination. Yeah. Things like that. Yeah.
I think the thing for me that will at least put RE4 Remake above this game for me in the end is, to an extent at least, like the replay factor. Like even like within the first 2 hours of the game, I was loving it, but I instantly knew like, this is going to be a rough game to replay. Yeah, especially like to get all the collectibles and stuff, because like it starts off slow.
That's fair. That's totally fair. I mean, replay has never been a big thing to me, so I'll never drop points for that for me. But this is a game I'll play. This is a game I'll play one time and I'll be done and I'll be happy.
Yeah. Same.
I mean, like replay value isn't like obviously it's not king or anything, but
It's not be all end all, but I do
Sure.
see it as important.
No.
In situations
but like
this
RE4
where,
is
yeah, where this is such a great
Yeah,
game and RE4 is such a great game. Any little thing I can put there just to have one above the other.
I think what it is,
literally, yeah.
I view this game as like something like God of War Ragnarok. Like I wouldn't play that again. Like
Yeah.
because I get one amazing narrative experience and then I'm happy. You know what I mean? Like where Resident Evil is meant to be like speed run. Like it's designed to be.
Yeah,
so
for sure. Like it'll definitely be a matter of
but
seeing how it goes like by the end, because it's like I'm only like what I'd guess like maybe a third of the way through everything. Like it's like there's obviously so much I can say right now, but then like like probably who knows, like maybe by the end I'll say like yep, I'm fully satisfied, I don't need to replay this game at all, like I'm fully satisfied. Maybe I won't. One final like criticism I'll hit on before we bring James back in though, is surprisingly enough, at least so far I don't think I like Alan's sections as much as Saga's. I find like because like they do have like a really interesting mechanic of like you get certain story prompts and then it's like you enter a scene and like you kind of like you can like actually enter in those new story ideas and like it'll physically change the environment around you. That stuff's on paper, that stuff's interesting, but at least so far I don't really feel like the mechanic has like I feel like they can only take the mechanics so far, or at least like with what they're doing at the moment. Obviously I know they'll evolve it, but it's like really all it is and it's the puzzles, like even like the light puzzles are more kind of interesting, I feel like, because they at least involve like some strategy of like, okay, I got to take this light here and then like I've got to stand in this position to get past this wall, and then I got to put the light back or take it away, and then like I'll move forwards and
I also
like, stuff
prefer
like that.
Saga's slightly
Saga's
far, just because she's a little bit less puzzle oriented than Alan is. I felt like Saga's was a little more straightforward, whereas Alan's was not. But these are like
only that. I just find the concept of like a smart detective and figuring out a mystery to be more interesting than just like an author putting pieces together.
Right. That are
like his chapter.
Right.
Yeah, it's like
a meta commentary on Stephen King.
Yeah.
But Alan's writer's room, or like his mind palace, whatever. It's like it's not really as like I feel like Saga's mind palace is like it's crucial element to like not only her character writing wise, but like gameplay wise, like it's crucial. It's like, okay, this is a place I'm super familiar with, and it's like it really makes me feel involved. Whereas like with Alan's, at least so far, it's just like it's kind of like a barren room, and then it's like you just got a couple boards.
But that
and it's like I kind of get like why in context it's the way that it is.
Yeah.
But I just feel like especially the puzzle mechanics that involve his mind palace.
Yeah.
They're just not nearly as satisfying or invigorating as like any of Saga stuff is, even though like
I agree,
like Saga stuff is literally just like kind of like pressing X, like connecting A to B, like the game does the rest for you. But it's like because it's probably like a 70-30 split between stuff you're doing outside and the stuff you're doing in the Mind Palace. So like it makes you feel super involved and like captivated in that mystery and solving and stuff. Where at least so far Alan's just is like, okay, arrive to this room, press this like thing, and then it's like the game will basically like, oh yeah, this is what I need. Like Alan will like literally tell you, no, that's not right. Oh, this is right. And then it's like you like something changes and you can move on. It's like it's not as captivating to me so far, but
I think
also quite frankly, just I don't feel like something that I like. A big part of why I love Saga sections so far as well is because like when you do exploration, you come across like all these like little like optional puzzles and optional areas and like collectibles and stuff.
Optional dialogue.
That, like, really add
any optional dialogue.
Like stuff that like really adds texture and flavor to the world, whereas like Alan's doesn't really have much of that. Again, in context, I know why, but Like Sagas just feels a lot more involved and interesting to walk through.
Sure.
I don't feel that with Alan so far, but I'm interested. With where I left his story off, I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah.
But
There's
I'm not
stuff
itching to
being
get
done
back to it.
between his relationship and Alice's relationship, and comments on emotional. I don't want to give away too much stuff, but like a partner and intimate stuff that happens in terms of like emotional, I don't know, violence and stuff. I feel like they're making a commentary. Abuse. I was looking for the right word without giving too much away, but I mean, basically, abuse.
Plus, I love like the whole like mystery. Is the daughter dead, and are you forgetting? Like, is she forgetting or not? Like, it doesn't tell you.
Yeah,
we don't know yet. But to add on to you guys, I agree. Saga's I think her story in gameplay is better. But I think where Alan's is better is the atmosphere and the horror is way better.
Yes, I would agree.
I much prefer
the
city scary, like the city setting compared to the woods. I don't find woods scary. Where the city like has a really awesome atmosphere with the neon lights and the tension. It feels a lot better. So it's kind of like two different games at the same time. If, like one feels like a true crime game, like storyline, and another one feels like survival horror, like Silent Hill, Resident Evil 2 kind of thing. So
I think James at this point is testing his ability to breathe. So maybe we should switch back.
Yeah. So hold on. What makes this game so good to me is the storyline, and the gameplay is not the best gameplay of the year, but it's like it's good. It's good enough.
Yeah, it's good enough.
It's good enough.
Yeah.
Where the game really shines is the story.
Good enough, but I
wouldn't say it's good enough. I would say it's good. Like I don't want to saying like I don't know. Saying like it's good enough makes it sound like it's negative, but it's more like the mystery, the setting, the atmosphere, the music, the characters, everything is just it just engrosses.
So good.
It's really enthralling. It just pulls you in. Even the first like 10 minutes, I was already hooked. It's almost a game tailor made for me. It's a game totally tailor made for me. And
I was not expecting to have this lengthy of a conversation on the game, anyways. But it's like
I wasn't either, but I'm glad we did.
This game is
fucking rules.
This is one of those like spoiler cast games because this is the game you like meta you really jump into. Yeah. So let's
for sure.
So let's jump. I mean, I knew this conversation was gonna be long because Alan Wake 2 is one of our biggest games.
Swing. Maybe we should swing.
Into our next. So let's swing into our final topic.
James.
All right.
Keep doing it. James, get in here.
All right. So if he doesn't want to talk, then we'll just jump right into Spider-Man. All right. So that's our show. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Happy Halloween. So Spider-Man 2, one of the best games of the year. So. We had a great conversation.
Great conversation. James, you missed all of it.
So so Spider-Man 2 came out. It is Insomniac's highest rated game of all time now, or tied with Ratchet and Clank.
Nice.
I think did it go down though? I think it's like 90 now, so I might have went down now.
It's at 90.
Yeah, so it's not the highest, not tied for the highest anymore, but. Either way, to me, it is the greatest game Insomniac has ever made. I'm
sorry, guys. I just gotta quickly break one out for the 19 inches.
That's a really cool stat. That's the one thing.
Mitch, this is a family-friendly podcast.
It legitimately is. I was gonna like do something where I was like, Walker's like, oh, it's so heavy, but no, that's no.
It's a family podcast where we say fuck and.
Have you got like a tape measure or something? Can we check it?
Can we record all 19 inches of?
Could you imagine you like write an email to like Sony like, dear Jim Ryan, you promised 19 inches of Venom and it's only 17 inches. I demand my money back.
18.99.
I demand my money back.
It's only 18.3 inches. What is this?
So Spider-Man 3, I'll say for me, I guess spoiler for our top 10 game list, but for
kind
me,
of Spider-Man 3.
So I'm gonna say Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2.
Okay.
Spider-Man 2 is a top 3 game for me. That's what I was gonna say. It's a top 3 game.
Yes.
I think it is up there with Baldur's Gate and Tears of the Kingdom, and It's not as good as those two, but it is.
Yeah.
I don't want. I'm trying not to say the word masterpiece, but it is as close as you can get.
It's fun
to it.
Like
it's like right below that.
To quickly like surmise my thoughts early on, it's like I think there are like at least a few games that have come out this year that are like I feel like a better, not so much like better made or better crafted, but it's like, you know, it's like they're doing more innovative things, or it's like, you know, they really like innovated on certain mechanics and did it well, like, you know, set a new bar for the genre that they're in. But at the end of the day, like Spider-Man 2 is just like, it's just so damn fun, like from a gameplay perspective, from a Spider-Man fan's perspective, and like just seeing certain things come to life playing the game. Like it's one of those games where it's like it's better than the sum of its parts. I guess I could say.
Yeah.
At least personally speaking.
All right, so I'm gonna start off with some hot takes.
Okay.
So number one, maybe these aren't hot takes. I don't know. I'm gonna gauge the temperature of these takes and see if they're hot or not.
Okay.
All right. Number one, best Spider-Man game of all time. Number two,
Not even close. Yeah, by far.
But yeah, I know. We're starting off easy. Best superhero game of all time, I would say, and probably one of the best. I'm not saying the best, but I'm saying one of the best. PlayStation 5, like first party, second party. What the hell are Insomniac? First party. One of the best first party PlayStation games
what's
of all
the
time.
competition? Returnal.
I know. The competition's slim. I know. PS5 doesn't have games. Yada. But
I don't agree with that one, but
no, I know. It's just a meme.
Is it the best?
Yeah.
PS5 exclusive to this point?
Well, if we don't count The Last of Us Part 1, which we don't.
True. Yeah.
I count that.
I wasn't even thinking
then.
that
game is like 87. Like that's I wouldn't count that anyway. I mean, I count that, but I wouldn't put that on top 3 anyway.
I wouldn't put it above this game. No.
No, I think this might be the best PS5
Man,
exclusive. Yeah.
You guys think this is better than The Last of Us?
Part 1, in terms of gameplay, absolutely. In terms of story, no.
Wait. I'm talking about the remake. I'm talking about the remake, the Part 1.
Oh, he's talking about the remake. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the remake is the game.
Well, right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm not comparing Last of Us to Spider-Man.
Story-wise, no, but gameplay-wise, yes. I absolutely think this is a better game.
Yeah, Last of Us Part 1 has
it's
not
apples
the best
and oranges,
gameplay.
though.
Yeah, it is. I agree with Mitch. It's apples and oranges. Though.
Absolutely.
It's not apples and oranges. It's video games and video games.
Okay, well,
Okay, sure.
if you want to get into that, The Last of Us Part 1 doesn't have great gameplay. In fact, it doesn't age well at all compared to the second one.
Doesn't age well.
I
still enjoy it. I still like it.
I still like it,
still-
I played so many better survival horror games with better gameplay since then.
I mean, that's
that-
like.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I think we'd all agree that it's like The Last of Us 2 is like leaps and bounds better than the first game. Like,
gameplay.
Obviously,
Yeah.
like
Gameplay.
for the Last of Us, in gameplay. But even then, I still have like perfectly fine like fun with the first game's gameplay. Like it's simplistic.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
but it's like it's never like a classic, like, you know, like an older Assassin's Creed title or anything like that. Like
the worst
the
I can say
gameplay
is
was like
sometimes
never
it's clumsy and sometimes it's a little.
I
clunky.
just-
yeah,
I-
exactly.
It's just stiff.
I never
compared to the
really had
second
that
one.
issue.
Stiff.
It's
Yes,
stiff.
absolutely.
But it's
but-
still
but
good.
what are we
But like
thinking?
even then, it's
Best
fine.
best
It's still
superhero
good.
game of all time. What would be?
No.
Arkham City.
I was Arkham City is still the best. I mean, I don't know. It's very
Okay.
close to me. I think I might
It's very
lean on
close,
this.
yeah.
I might lean on this game because I'm a bigger Spider-Man fan than Batman.
Agreed.
I mean, I
Agreed,
literally-
yes.
Yeah.
I always have my Spider-Man right here. Like so.
Right.
Yeah,
and I
so-
always have my Spider-Man controller right here.
Yeah, I have a Spider-Man statue,
Nice.
painting right next to me. So, Spider-Man's I'm a fanboy, and
I got
Absolutely.
I'll put it this way:
yeah.
this game has bigger moments for me that didn't hit with me in Arkham City because I'm just a bigger Spider-Man fan. Like Venom,
right,
the
for
Venom moments. Like, oh my god, I'm so.
I
like,
mean, also-
I'm
Oh,
I'm like, oh my god. So like, I didn't have that with Arkham City as much.
We should
so
we should preface, by the way. I do not say we're not planning on spoiling anything.
Yeah.
But if you want to be like super safe, why are you listening to this anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Venom's in
I
the
mean,
game.
we
so,
should-
like,
wait,
that-
we should-
that didn't
let's
spoil
be
it.
honest. You've already
Everybody
you've
has like an
already
intro
played-
to
you've
like
already
give
played
hot
the
takes.
game, you know?
I want James. Do you have any like big takes about this game? Any big takeaways?
Yeah.
'Cause we've all beaten it. All of us have beaten it at this point. Any big takeaways for you?
Okay, so my hottest take is, I
That's
mean,
gonna
for
upset
me, no. Jill, I want to say it's not really it's not a hot take. For
Okay.
me, it's an out of the ordinary take. What I want to say is,
Okay.
this game went a great deal towards winning me over for superhero media in general. Because like
Yeah.
a big criticism that I've had of superhero media, and this is maybe just based on like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and stuff of that ilk, is that like it's kind of popcorn entertainment. Like there's not a lot of emotional resonance to it. Like it doesn't. It doesn't feel particularly human. Which I mean,
Which I don't entirely agree with,
superheroes,
but I get
right?
what you're
They're
saying.
superhuman. But like, yeah, that's been like my thing, right? Like, but this game has kind of brought me around on the idea that you can tell very human stories with these kinds of characters. Because like there are a lot of emotional moments in this game, and there are a lot of emotional moments in the other Spider-Man games as well. But in this one, like, yeah, there are a lot of emotional moments, but the things that actually made me the most emotional, I think the things that I got the most emotion out of were actually the moments between Peter and Miles, of them like their character interactions,
Absolutely.
like in cutscenes or
Yeah.
or otherwise.
Yeah.
Yep.
Were you also including like any of the side content in that, James, or like just like the main story mainly?
Just the main story, pretty much, because I haven't done a lot.
Okay.
Oh, the side contents.
Okay.
Even further as
Yeah,
your,
this
like the Howard mission
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
heartbreaking, and the mission with the grandfather with dementia was really emotional. Like the speech he gave
Yeah,
was
it's-
like you had to sit there and like, wow, like that's
They
deep.
had an exit button there. You could have left that conversation.
No,
Like, how
no.
dare
No,
you.
no,
All
no.
right,
I would never.
So we're getting something straight. We're getting something straight right fucking now. Anybody who does that, criminal offense. I also want to say criminal charges should be put against Sebastian Cardone for fucking fast traveling during this goddamn
Of
game.
course,
I know why.
I'm
he
not
did it.
swinging
I know
across
why
the
he did it.
entire map for
Why?
to collect to collect little
Traversal's
spider
so
bots.
Good, dude. Oh my god, the traversal is like always worth.
Well, I
doing.
want to.
can't
Since she brought up fast travel, I want to say the fast travel in this game is the best I've ever seen in a video game. Like it is instant. Like literally,
Okay, yeah, it is.
literally
It is.
instant.
I'm not. By the way, but I'm not being serious. Obviously, everybody can play it their own way, But I'm very proud to say, and someone should put this on my tombstone when I die, I never fast traveled once. I don't even know what that fucking screen looks like, because they introduced one of the best traversal methods of all time, motherfucking spider wings, which look so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Are so fun, like the best parts of like the Arkham series, but with like even better
Yeah.
movement and obviously SSDI and all that shit.
Yeah,
It's
we're
so
hitting on
fucking good. and so
we're hitting on
much
like
fun.
7 topics at the same time. So let's
I know.
let's clear.
Sorry.
Let's get back to since most of our topics been about like the story. Let's hit on the story elements first, and then we'll talk all about the gameplay.
Yeah.
Because I think what makes this game really good, even above like even not just good, but like one of the best games of the year and one of the best superhero games ever, is the story. Because as you guys have already mentioned, the story in this game is really good, and the acting is phenomenal. I think Yuri should be nominated as the best actor.
I agree.
I think he went all out in this performance, especially when he becomes the he gets a little like he gets the symbiote kind of.
He gets a little dirt in his eye.
Yeah, a little dirt in his eye. There you go.
It's
You know,
just,
like-
he gets a little
He gets
dirt in
Bully
his eye.
Maguire in the game, and
Yes,
he goes all
absolutely,
out.
he does.
It's very emotional, like, and not only that, but like, it does an amazing job balancing Miles and Peter's story. Where like
Spectacular
both
job even.
spectacular, amazing.
Well,
Yeah. and it,
Yeah.
it does a really good.
What were we gonna say, James?
I was just I
sorry.
was gonna go on to another thing because like
Oh.
Yuri's performance was great, but I just wanted to like shout out. I don't know who the actor is, but Craven's performance.
Yes.
is
Yeah.
as well.
God.
And
Oh fuck!
one of my
I had it. Yeah.
one thing that I listened. I don't know if you guys have listened to the Kind of Funny spoiler cast.
Yes,
Um,
yes, I did
And
that
I'm not
yesterday.
I'm
Yes.
not going to spoil anything. I'm not going to say anything that's a spoiler from that. But one of my favorite things from that I learned is that
Jim Peary.
the performance of Craven in the game is based like his voice and everything is kind of based on the bad guy from John Wick,
Yeah.
which is really cool.
Yeah, I can see that.
He also Brian Eno also talked about how like the actor for Craven, how after a certain point of like, you know, like sort of performing the character like for the mocap and stuff, he was actually kind of like not directing them, but like he was actually like kind of saying like, no, this is what Craven would be doing, this is what, you know, like this is how he would be sitting and like kind of talking about this stuff. And
I
like,
want to
giving them
say
tips,
also
which is, like,
story wise, like this is largely, and all of us here probably know this. Seb definitely knows this if nobody else. But this game is largely an adaptation of Kraven's Last Hunt, which is one of the best Spider-Man comics of all time. I love it. I have the whole trade paperback, and it's phenomenal. It's one of the best Spider-Man stories ever done. And this is, as somebody who loves the original comic that this story is largely based on, they obviously take a lot of creative liberties and do different things with it, which I think all work, by the way. I don't know. It's really hard for me to say that this isn't the better version, because there's still a very small couple of things with the original. Like there's this weird villain named Vermin who's basically like a rat, and it's fucking weird. But like it's so good. And like, I mean, we don't get Kraven in the symbiote suit, you know, like being like this, like over like Peter's fucking gravestone, like we do in the comics, which is where that comes from.
Wasn't he wearing the I think it was a fake costume or something?
It was a fake costume.
I don't think
right?
he's actually
but
wearing
still,
the symbiote.
He wasn't actually wearing the symbiote, but still he was wearing like a impressive looking mock-up.
Yeah, they didn't
still,
do that. Yeah, they didn't do that story where like the people start turning on Spider-Man, like the media and stuff. Like I don't remember that in the game. But
I mean, there was like hints towards that in like some of the background podcast you hear, but it's not so much like turning on Spider-Man.
Not a main
it's
story,
just like,
though.
hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
exactly.
Now, what I really liked about the storyline was, even though it's kind of an excuse just to have like enemy bases and stuff, but I like the whole idea of Kraven just want to hunt on the villains, like and then go down with a blaze of glory. Like I'm not gonna say what happens to Kraven, but he wants to die in a glorious battle, like, right? And like that's the whole that's his whole story, and it's unique, right? It could have been a generic villain, like, oh, I just want to kill Spider-Man, and they actually
do you know,
powerful actually.
This might be the hot take that you're looking for, Dory.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Kraven is maybe not the best, but one of the best parts of the game.
Oh yeah, that's not a hot take.
Interesting.
I'm not completely against that. I mean,
okay.
I can't say what I was about to say. I can't. That'd be a spoiler.
I think so. I know. It's just I think he's such an interesting character in this story, in this game, that like every scene that he's in is made better by his presence.
Yeah,
and that's like due to the writing of him and his performance.
Yeah,
his voice acting phenomenal, like we already talked about.
And he just adds like another kind of dimension to the story that
he brings a kind of "I'm going to kill you" energy that other characters don't like.
And to the point where like anytime he wasn't present in a part of the story,
the audience should be asking, "Where's Kraven? What's he doing?"
It felt like I noticed a dip in my interest in the story whenever he wasn't there. Like so, yeah.
Oh wow! I didn't have that problem, but
I have a fun revelation to share with you guys as well. Maybe depending on how you guys see it. So Jim Peary, who plays Kraven, also played Boozer in Days Gone.
It's
the same actor.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I remember hearing that.
But now, one of the
I don't know how I feel about that.
Keep on the topic about story. I also
fucking great.
I love the flashback scenes with Harry and Peter when they're young. Like especially when Peter was young with the glasses. I love like the ultimate Spider-Man look they gave him.
Yes.
And his character model looked really good. Like cause you can tell it's the same person, and they somehow de-aged him really well. Like they made him. Oh, that looks like a teenager.
On the young
Uncharted 4 vibes.
Peter as well. Yeah. Well, yeah, because like surprisingly, because like I know without bringing it up again, obviously we all know there was that whole controversy that's apparently still going on, like about how people don't like the new face model and all of that.
I'm used to it, but I do prefer the old one.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna be one of those annoying fangirls.
No, well, because seeing the young Peter model that they had in this game actually went a long ways towards, like, once I saw the young Peter model in this game, I'm like, I instantly just like, oh yeah, I prefer this face model. Like I already kind of did prefer it, but then seeing that the fact that they like also got a younger looking face model for Peter, and then like sort of seeing him like in the next scene like aged up, it's like, oh, like it just sold the reality of that a lot better to me. I don't know why, but like from then onwards, I was just like, yep, I buy it now. I buy it.
That's fair.
I'm at the place where it's like, I am so used to seeing that face now, where whenever I see the old face model, I think, wow, he looks kind of stupid.
I am used to it too, because I played on PC and PS5, so like I beat the first game like 5 times, so I'm used to the new face. That it doesn't bother me. I actually prefer it now.
I mean, I'm over it. I'm still gonna be like a cranky. I guess I'll be the only one on the podcast, but I'll still be a cranky old fangirl.
But also for the characters, I really liked Harry's character. I thought he was interesting. I felt like he was very sympathetic. I felt like his motivation made sense. I like the idea of the corruption of the symbiote. I was really into that. The moments with him and Harry and Peter, like when they break into the school together, were genuinely great moments that even the first game didn't have. I think that's what makes this game stand out more in comparison to like other superhero games. The other superhero games can just do like, here's a mission, fight a bunch of enemies, and the dynamic between
MJ and Harry and Peter is so good. Like that Coney Island section, which they've shown in trailers, by the way, so I'm not really giving anything away.
The
Coney Island music.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. And I won't say much about it, but are just such a big leap towards making them have very good friend vibes. Like, and I don't mean the TV show. Yeah. I mean, like it would be so easy. Thank you. It would be so easy to like make Harry feel like a third wheel or something, but they never do that, and it's never felt like that. It feels like MJ is as friends with him as she is with Peter, and they're all on equal footing. And like, I feel like that's really a good way to do it. That way we don't do fucking love triangle bullshit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that bad storytelling would have did just a love triangle or some shit. Like, oh, he got jealous and he wants to be back.
Fucking done. Yeah, they would have done Korra season 1.
Like the symbiote like sees jealousy because of love triangle or some bullshit like that. That would have been. Oh my
terrible. God, no! Don't put that evil into this world.
But I agree. I think they feel like genuine, real people, and I think MJ and Peter's relationship feels like genuinely real.
Oh, I know this is gonna make me sound like a fucking weirdo. Maybe it's gonna make me sound like a weirdo, but I love MJ and Peter together so much. I mean, it's heterosexual nonsense, right? So in that level, obviously it's gross, and like, you know, go find a fucking room to be in, you gross people. But like, I did take a screenshot like every time like they embraced or they kissed and stuff, because I love seeing that. Like, you don't get to see Peter being happy enough. Being a fan of Spider-Man means you get to see this man tortured over and over and over again. He never gets to be with MJ.
Yeah, Marvel hates Spider-Man.
He never gets to have kids.
Yeah.
Yes, he never gets to have kids. He never gets to be happy. So like those little moments where he gets to kiss her or he gets to be with her, I'm like, I'm taking screenshots because no one's gonna
Spider-Man literally gets divorced by Satan.
Yeah, like literally Satan is getting in his fucking business. That's how much Marvel fucking hated him in the mid-2000s.
That was the worst comic book of all time.
Oh, fuck that comic.
But yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Can I just jump off the Harry thing, right? That actually makes me think. I really love the dimensions they added to Norman Osborn's character.
In
this game as well.
He's almost like a completely different character.
This is the most nuanced Osborn character, Norman Osborn character, I think we've seen in a Spider-Man one, because usually he's just obvious out and out evil capitalist, but this one, I mean, he's very concerned about his son and
Right.
the
Yeah.
spot from his wife.
It's really. I think they really balance. They do a great job of balancing that kind of kind of that kind of corporate, kind of rich guy attitude of like, I can fix anything with my helicopters and money, and like also being like a down to earth, concerned father figure.
Yeah,
Who just wants
the
to
whole
help
powerless
his son.
theme was really good in this game. That theme.
Yeah. The thing I realized as well once I beat the game is that, because I'm assuming he's still mayor of New York at this point, right? Like
They don't
with all
really
of the,
say.
I don't
Hey.
think so.
Well, because
I
that's
don't
the
think he
thing, because
is.
like they don't really show any. Well, because like there's all those billboards around, and like you've got the people like protesting. Like that was like one of the photos.
I think he got criticized for forcing
collectibles.
everybody on the organization. I forgot the name of them. Silver. What are they called?
Devil's Breath.
Oh,
yeah,
Sable?
like he got
Was it
blamed for
Sable?
the. Well, I mean that, and I also saw and heard stuff about like people like blaming him for like, because essentially it's like
Devil's Breath. Yeah.
he created Devil's Breath in New York.
It's protesting,
and then it's like, well,
yeah,
exactly. Like they don't, for better and for worse, mostly for better, they don't even really focus on the fact that he's the head of like obviously it's like, yeah, he's rich, he's Norman Osborn, but it's like they don't really actually show any of that side of him in this game. It's like literally every scene is in he's a father figure, and I think like he's almost he feels like a completely different character in this game, because like in the first game I really didn't care for him all that much, like in the sense that like, okay, he was just like, it's obviously because we all know like in the comics and source material that at some point he's going to be either evil or just straight up the Green Goblin, like, and this like the way he acted in the first game, the actions he did and like was shown to do, like really leaned into that more. But it's like in this game it's like it's a complete switch up on that.
Well, if it does happen now there's more of an understandable motivation. Because
there's more precedent.
Because there is, because the story is kind of like predictable, but you can forgive that because everything is so well done that it doesn't matter. I always said this: innovation is not not important to me. If it's a good story, it's a good story, even if it's cliche or not. This game does have the cliche
parts that surprised me, but
there is some surprise, but everything was very predictable. We knew who was going to be Venom. We knew what was going to happen.
I didn't. I still.
That was obvious.
I thought they were fucking lying their ass off. So no, I still.
Oh really?
I still thought it was going to be somebody else.
Yeah, okay, but either way,
even when it came close to like time for Venom, like I was still like, it's either going to be this character or that character. Like I had it narrowed down to two people, and I was pretty sure it was going to be one or the other, and I ended up being right. But still, I was unsure.
Yeah, I want to add on to the Harry and Peter dynamic. Also, like, I love like all their moments together, and not even like I love the whole idea of like Peter actually getting the job. Like that, one of the things about this story, one of the stories is like Peter struggling financially, right, and like trying to find a job.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And
always the best version of Peter, in my opinion.
Exactly, and then like he finally gets like a amazing job with his best friend. Like you can't that was just like wow, like and it wasn't gonna last because Peter can't have good things because Marvel can never give Peter good things.
Absolutely.
And I love that like even at the end, I'm not gonna say the spoiler, but I just love that it always has that element.
It doesn't go to waste.
It goes full circle.
It doesn't go to waste.
It
It comes full circle. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Keep it vague. But it comes full circle. It doesn't go to waste, and those plot points set up a very satisfying conclusion. One thing I want to say about the story too, I won't say too much. I want to keep this vague. But the way that this game uses its main antagonists and main antagonist sub enemies, as if that makes sense. I don't want to say too much, but is
the people you fight.
Yes,
like,
the people
the
you fight towards the end of the game. Late game enemies is all I'll say. Is so smart because it becomes a kind of, and I'm not recommending this kind of therapy, but it becomes a kind of like interesting therapy for the main characters involved in terms of them working out their problems, saying things that they could never say, like really like heartfelt conversations about things that they needed to be saying this whole time
Yeah.
and just didn't. And again, not recommending this for conflict resolution or
Yeah.
anything like that, but I thought that was a very interesting way to justify certain decisions made in late game with changes to characters. That's all I'll say about
Definitely. I also want to talk about the dynamic between Peter and Miles, and like I love like they're such a great duo. Like, and not only that, I like the little story that like Miles gets genuinely jealous that like Peter spends more time with Harry, and then the symbiote kind of like wants to charge like knowing that and charge like go try to get on him, and I found that very interesting too. The chemistry between them was incredible. I thought.
I think what they did with Miles' character in particular in this game is way better than anything they did with him in the past 2 games, even his own game.
Okay, I think it's time for my hot take now, kind of.
Okay, go for a hot take.
I want to say, specifically for Miles, I don't think he was utilized very well in the first 2/3 of the game.
Really?
Story-wise.
I thought you were about to say the first 2 games, and I was about to agree.
No. Yeah, no.
I would agree with that
I think, like, especially, like...
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
All right, like, at least in the sense that, like, compared to Peter, I feel like Peter's story from the get-go is, like, just immediately... Like, you just connect to it and you're engaged. Like, 1 minute it's like, oh, you feel bad for him because he lost his job at the start of the game. And then it's like, oh, well, now Harry's back. And then, like, at certain events lead to him getting the symbiote. And then the symbiote arc plays out. And that's, like, once that part of the story ends, that's, like, the first 2/3 of the game. So, like, you have all of, like, Peter's stuff going on, which is, like, super interesting. But then, like, whenever the game cuts back to Miles, he's... doing stuff like I mean, like, sure, he has, like, you know, there's like the Martin Lee stuff, and like this is in the trailers, but like he has the Martin Lee stuff, but that's like predominantly that's in the background. Like, you know, like maybe like every mission or 2 with him, like, you know, Genki or someone will call up and say, oh, we still haven't found Lee yet, but he'll turn up at some point.
Now,
it's only like when I think he has, like, you know, like his big boss fight, you know, like his big, like, kind of dramatic character arc conclusion, I guess. That's when, like, his character went, okay, yep, I'm enjoying him a lot more now. Like, he's, you know, like, pretty much on the same par with Peter. But for the first 2/3 of the game, like, none of his missions were really, outside of, like, you know, like, one really fun mission that's, you know, kind of very Ratchet and Clanky is all I'll say. None of his missions were captivating me nearly as much as Peter's, where it was just kind of like, oh, like, and I don't think the game, and like I get it from the aspect of like, okay, the game's doing the same thing as Miles Morales, where it's like he's a lot more community focused in Harlem, but I don't think any of the missions in this game were done nearly as well as in Miles Morales. I didn't find them as good as Miles Morales.
Academy. They're about Visions Academy. They're about Harlem. They're not about...
And I didn't like any of those missions.
I can't.
Like they were fine, but I didn't like them all that much.
I think like, okay, I think you're probably right, at least in part, about him being kind of underutilized in the first 2/3 of the game. Maybe, but I think by the time I got to the end of the game, like the conclusions to his character arc or arcs was so good and so satisfying that I kind of didn't care how it started off, because I felt satisfied.
I'd agree with that. No, I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that. Like, by the end, I was fully satisfied. But like for the first 2/3 of the game, I was kind of like, I was in a spot where I really didn't want to be, where I was kind of like, oh, now I'm playing as Miles, I just want to get back to Peter. Like that's not where I wanted to be, and I wasn't fully there. But like I was edging close to that point for a while. The game won me back big time, but
honestly, everything you've said in the last like 10 minutes, I've totally disagreed with. Like, I am total opposite of you. I thought I preferred play as Miles most of the time. And when we switched to Peter, I was like, I don't really want to play as Peter. I want to play as Miles, because I thought Miles' gameplay was a lot funner. And I genuinely,
even with the symbiote,
I genuinely liked the side missions with him, like the ones you didn't like. I love the campus missions. I love like like the prom, like the prom proposal.
The prom was so fucking cute.
Yeah,
I
that
love
was nice. Like I genuinely,
like the
I do because I genuinely liked it because I liked Miles' like storylines because they were all like local, genuine like Spider-Man stuff. Like that's what makes Spider-Man
Yeah,
so good.
literal.
Yeah,
it's
Spider-Man-
friendly neighborhood.
Yeah,
stuff.
Spider-Man was
Like,
Spider-Man's Peter's story was all like world-ending symbiote bullshit. No, not bullshit, but like crazy shit.
Yeah.
And then Miles was
Yeah.
all like his uncle David. His uncle has tools hidden around the city, and the whole storyline of him trying to get to turn his life around, and Miles just trying to help all his friends out. And I like the dynamic with Genki, and I thought I thought that was fun.
Yeah, I don't know.
I genuinely
I
liked
think-
Miles' character, like
you're-
Miles' story. I thought it was a great continuation of
Interesting.
the spin-off.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, here's
Interesting.
my real hot take then.
Okay.
You know,
I got-
y'all, I was just saying takeaways. It didn't have to be like hot takes. Jesus Christ.
The funny thing is, none of your hot takes have really been hot takes. Like they're all just been.
No, so far, yeah.
It seems like this one's going to be a hot take. I
Okay.
got so much secondhand embarrassment from the homecoming side mission.
No,
What?
I thought it was.
Like
I thought it was cute.
I did. I mean, I guess yeah, it was cute, but like in a way that made me want to gag. Like,
Jesus Christ, James.
Disagree.
Oh my
Shit.
God.
Disagree.
Too, like,
Okay.
bleh.
I'm okay. James, if it's any consolation, I'm halfway between what you think and what Seb and Dory think.
Okay.
I'm halfway.
Which is
I'm
just
firmly.
laughing at
I'm
you.
firmly
So
halfway.
I don't know where
Well,
the fuck that puts Mitch.
It's not just that. I mean, I think it's because I had a different experience than you guys because I think a lot of you did the main missions mostly first and then side stuff
Yeah.
after. I did all the
Yeah.
side
I
stuff
did that
first.
one when it came up. But...
I did all the side stuff first. Like my last trophy was the platinum for the platinum was just getting like the last environment thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
'Cause that was
'cause that's
after
only
you,
out
you had to
post-game,
get that
right?
after you had to get that
Yeah.
after the main story. So
Yeah.
that's why I play all my PlayStation first party games. I always do all the side stuff first, and then platinum trophies. I usually get the platinum trophy as the last story mission. So
IGN has this recommendation. I would second it. I haven't gotten the platinum. I'm like
Yeah.
80, 90% or something, and
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll do the rest because
Oh, just
I didn't
do
do
it.
enough. I didn't do enough stealth takedowns, and now it's all fucking
Oh, that's
tedious
easy.
and shit.
that's totally.
I had a
yeah.
lot of trouble, Seb. I was gonna ask you and pick your brain about it, but I couldn't do the fucking do 30 tricks in the air one. I
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
figure out how to fucking do that.
Get on the highest
either.
building and just
Oh.
swing. Keep
Well,
spamming
you can-
circle and
yeah.
then hit R.
Yeah.
Don't hit the stick at all. Just hit circle,
Okay.
and then
Because he keeps
and
diving.
keep swinging. Like hit the
Oh,
hit the
okay.
R2 button. But
you
don't
have to
don't
do it without swinging. Yeah.
you have to do it.
Oh, so you can swing. I thought you
keep
just
on
had to
swinging.
do one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but don't hit the
Oh,
stick.
okay.
'Cause if
No,
you
no,
do like if you do
have
this,
to- you just can't hit the ground.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
okay.
easier
that makes
that-
it
yeah.
a lot more doable.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, how do I do? I'm like, and I was like, oh yeah, it took me like 2 minutes
Yeah.
when I figured out how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
trophies in that
gotcha.
game.
Then maybe-
This game
then
is
maybe I'll
meant
do
to.
it.
This game is designed to be
How do
easy
you-
platinum.
How do you do stealth takedowns?
Yeah.
Because I know how to do them. That's not what I mean.
You
I
have
just
to-
mean like now that I've done all the bases, I have the map 100% done. Where the fuck do I go for stealth takedowns at this point? Like,
Well,
can I go somewhere?
You can do
You can't
crimes.
retry the
I mean, I'd
bases,
say
right?
just. Well, no,
You
but
can't retry the
if you
bases,
find like
right?
crimes in alleys and stuff, like especially as Miles, just go camo and then like because you have to like do the web lines that
Right,
you launch and like
right.
do it
Yeah.
on those.
The base
So
is
just,
not
like,
around
yeah,
anymore.
I'd say like just grind.
No, the bases you can't retry them as far as I know. I could be wrong.
I think the only activities you can retry are
the Mysteriums.
Mysterio things.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and then those don't have any stealth
Dumb name.
ones.
Dumb name.
And those don't have any stealth ones.
No.
Weirdly
No,
enough.
but I think so. My point was that
Yeah,
I
sorry,
had a
I'm
genuine fun time with Miles' storyline because I was playing Miles so long. Like I did most of the side content as Miles. Like when I talked to the grandpa, that was
Yeah.
as Miles, and I felt like it was more impactful.
Interesting.
Because I don't know. It just there was like another dynamic to it because Miles is only like a 19-year-old kid talking to this old man with dementia about love, and then the
Yeah.
whole they had the whole Haley subplot because Peter already Peter already has MJ, and he's already experienced
Oh,
what
the
love is.
Haley subplot
But-
drew me fucking
But
bonkers.
Miles
or
still learning that,
drove me
so by
bonkers.
having a man, like an old man, tell him about love, like felt more impactful when Miles was talking to him. And I did this
Yeah.
at nighttime too, because if you, I feel like it's more impactful at night with the lighting and everthing too. So
Interesting.
yeah, so
Interesting.
it added a whole dynamic to that sad
Interesting.
scene. Yeah.
Okay, I'm I did without recycling it again. I did both the Grandpa and Howard missions back to back as Peter, and this was like late,
Jesus
like
Christ, Mitch.
IRL. It was late at night as well. I was already kind of gearing up to like put the game down at some point. But then like when I finished both those missions back to back, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, gotta put it down now. I can't.
I haven't been
It's like, that's a good spot.
I haven't
to end
been
it there.
I haven't been that sad over a pigeon guy since Hey Arnold. So like, but
So good.
no.
Anyways,
Go
I
ahead.
do. Sorry, I was gonna say I have actually gone for a second save slot on ultimate difficulty, so like the hardest difficulty.
Wow.
I'm definitely intending on like for this one like doing as much of the side content first and foremost, because like before I was just rushing through the main story because I didn't want to get spoiled on anything. That was the big thing. But now I'm just like, okay, I can like properly take my time. The thing that I mean, it's not really disappointment, but it's like the thing is that like it's for certain side missions it is abundantly clear that it's like either canonically or like in terms of like when you're supposed to play them, some are meant for certain points in the story. Like one of the flame side missions, it's abundantly clear with like the dialogue and like the way Spider-Man acts that you're meant to play it with the symbiote suit on, or like at the point of the story where he has the suit on.
Yeah.
Because like especially like his dialogue after the mission ends, it's just like that same like really like angry gravelly tone of voice that like feels like I played in the symbiote, but then like I watched my brother like finish that side mission, and it's like after he beat the story, and it's like we were both like, yeah, that dialogue does not match tonally whatsoever for this point now that the story is finished.
Yeah. I didn't have that because obviously I did it first, but
Yeah. Like I'm glad. Like at least for that side mission in particular, like I'm glad I did it when I found it.
yeah.
But I can't believe I'm about to say this. Gotham Knights, at least. Yeah. It as many problems as that game had, I do appreciate how it at least took the time to make minor to semi-major changes to like character dialogue and interactions depending on which character you're playing as at any given point in time.
Yeah.
You heard it here
Part of
first,
me
folks. Mitch thinks Gotham Knights is better than Spider-Man 2.
That's right.
he is totally
gotta-
right though. Yeah, Gotham Knights does a great job having different dialogue for depending what character you're playing.
Part of me, because more to that point, like part of me wishes that like because I mean like how
Well, it does have different
I mean, it'd be
dialogue.
terrible, but it's like imagine doing the Howard side mission as like like when he's like got the black suit and he's like fully angry. Like imagine and like the dialogue set kind of changed based on that. It'd be like I'd feel terrible. But
Can
like,
you even do that
imagine,
though?
Like,
I feel like you can't do that. I feel like it was you only play at a certain
true.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But like even then though, it's like I feel like depending on like either obviously Peter and Miles, that dialogue is different, but there's like limited side missions that actually have that option. Like I think it's like maybe 2 or 3 side missions that both of them can do that actually have some dialogue or proper story to them. The rest are just kind of like
the grandpa one.
yeah. Whereas like the rest are just like either they're exclusive to Peter or Miles, or the only like unique dialogue just comes from like calls with like characters after the mission.
I want to say the side content in this game is 1,000 times better than the first game. I feel like in the first game I would say the side content in the first game was terrible. I thought that was the weakest part of the first game. Even though I love that game.
I wouldn't say it's.
I think it's terrible.
That's
I think it was
very
terrible.
Ubisoft.
Yeah, I didn't care for collecting all the pigeons.
It felt like filler, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And some of them weren't done well.
Yeah.
I don't.
It was bad.
Okay.
But this game,
It was fine.
It was genuinely great. I think all the side missions were great. I loved And I love that every side thing, like every collectible had a final like secret ending reward for doing it. The whole
Yeah.
flame
Yeah.
side storyline was really interesting. New character, a character that from
Yeah,
the first game pops up.
James, have you played the?
I mean, I
have you
haven't, but we
played
shouldn't be spoiling it anyway. So
Oh, I'm not spoiling it.
No, but like, yeah.
And then
Yeah,
and
just
then the
wondering if
reveal
you
at the
have
end of
not- yeah.
that storyline, I was like, oh wow, we're gonna have you know who at the next game, please.
Yeah.
Like, my favorite villain in Spider-Man. There's a couple of secret endings in every collectible you collect that like I don't know if it's meant to be like a sequel bait or it's like a Easter egg or something. I don't know what the next plan is for the next game, but I imagine there's gonna be a thing.
I'm very
That's-
interested by a certain character that shows up. I had to look her up to know who the hell she was. I won't
Oh,
say any more
yeah.
about her.
I know.
But it's very
In the
interesting.
post-credits?
I think what
Yeah.
we're gonna do is Miles is slowly becoming. Well, he's slowly becoming like no, this is too much of a story thing. Miles grows in importance over the story, and I think he's gonna get a bigger boost in the next game. Is all I'm gonna say. And it's because I think of this character and what she means for Spider-Man 3.
The thing is, like, this is like this isn't even specific or anything, but like the thing is that the main things that I took away from like the endings of like everything is that like I'm, for better and for worse, I'm not sure where this franchise or series is going next, but like more so in the fact that I don't know if we're going for like an outright just like, you know, sequel like Spider-Man 3 next, or if we're gonna have like spin-off upon like maybe an expansion for this game, like basically all to the point of saying it's like I don't want this to become like a bunch of like, you know, like in like, you know, like its own like kind of like mini Spider-Verse on PlayStation or whatever, where there's like, you know, you have like a 3 mainline games, but then it's like before we get the third game we have like 2 to 3 different spin-off entries.
I don't think we
or
are
something before then.
I don't think we are because the Miles game was important because they could have they were allowed to develop his character for Spider-Man 2. You know what I mean? Like for giving him all that backstory.
But like depending on
you don't need that next game. You don't need
but
that.
like depending
now.
on the direction they want to take things for like and how they want to set up Spider-Man 3 in the future, like maybe they do want to do like, you know, maybe they want to do a Miles Morales 2 where it's like, you know, we get like a game focused on him again, or maybe we get like a spin-off for this character or for that character, and then like there's Wolverine kind of just hovering over in the distance going, "Grr, I'm not Hugh Jackman." Like it's
which is now kind of
I worry
to be in the same universe as Spider-Man.
yes
Yes.
yes
Which I don't
like
I
all
didn't
that's
even I didn't think anything else. I thought that was obvious.
Yeah, and
To
some
me, that
I think it was I think it was put up to question like years ago, but like all this to say really, so like I want the next game, which I'm presuming is going to be the end point, or like at least like the cap off to this trilogy. I want it to stay focused and like not get too like sort of heady or into like spin-offs
Yeah.
and
Do you wanna know
stuff,
what
and
I
like
think?
building an interconnected universe. Yeah, what do
I
you
do
think?
wanna
I
know
don't
what
think
you
it's going to
think.
do that.
I think that Ted Price is a coward who refuses to make Resistance 4.
Now, does anybody think that they're going to do another Miles game? Do we think that was just a one-off and they're not going to do another Miles game?
I think it's a
Just go
one-off.
right into Spider-Man 3?
Well,
I think it's a one-off.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like it could go either way, honestly.
Insomniac is
Especially with
wizards.
the way
They can
It
they
could
can
go
work on
either
5
way.
games at the same time and make all quality games. Their Insomniac
That's
is
the
literally
thing,
they're
though.
carrying
It's
Sony
like,
on their
I-
back right now. So
I feel like Insomniac have released just as many, if not more, games. Yeah, like what they've released 3 games this generation
last-
now, whereas like
yeah, in the last Naughty Dog game was 2020 if you exclude the remake. In that span,
Yeah.
we got Ratchet and Clank,
And-
We do.
Miles Morales, and Spider-Man 2,
Spider-Man Remastered.
and Spider-Man
That's
Remastered.
Yeah.
If you want to include that.
Jesus Christ.
So
I mean,
And,
they
like,
remastered it
Insomniac
themselves,
is
so I think
arguably
that's
their
fair.
best studio right now.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
not arguably, like they are.
No, I mean
output-wise,
like
especially.
And they're making
yeah.
they're making
Well,
they're making
output-
Naughty Dog
quality.
will always be my favorite, but yeah.
like big bucks, but yeah.
Yeah.
So over.
All right, let's talk about the gameplay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the fucking gameplay.
Yeah, let's talk
Yes.
about the gameplay. We haven't even talked about visuals yet, too. We'll talk about that too.
Oh, yeah, the
Gameplay.
game's gorgeous.
Gameplay is, I mean, it's phenomenal. It's super fun.
Yeah.
Like I love that they changed the tool mechanics. I hate in the first game. I always thought that was a little janky with the wheel with all the tools.
Yeah.
I thought it
yeah.
flows way better now, just having like four
Yes.
of them, and if the combat flows a lot better in this game than the first one. Like,
Combat
it's a
is
huge step
so
up.
good.
It's a huge step up. from the first one.
I already thought that Miles was better than Spider-Man 1, which I already thought was great, but I thought I thought Miles was near perfect, and then this is just like, to me, this is like superhero heaven. Like I spent about 30 hours in this game at this point, and I love the combat so much. I will say, and I know James is probably going to mention this too, every now and then there's some issues with the dodging, and there's some issues with certain attacks not being registered, at least in my experience and James's experience. I don't know if that's a general problem or not. Maybe that's just a get good issue. I don't know.
No,
I
Yeah.
didn't have that problem, but I don't think it's a get good issue. I just didn't have that problem.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
like
it is a new mechanic for the game, so it is possible.
I don't
that it's
recall
not
having.
implemented
I don't recall ever not having a problem like with like parrying or
Look,
dodging.
the dodge, no, the parry mechanic is really well implemented, and it is a really good mechanic. It's just, and like the dodging is great as well, and like the way they make you use those things in different ways from previous
Yeah.
games. It's
Agreed.
just the way they're implemented in certain boss fights, where stuff that I found was like, occasionally parries would not register, even though I definitely pressed the button before the attack hit. And like the dodge windows for unblockable attacks that you had to dodge. Were
The
are too
lizard,
small.
and we could talk about the lizard because he's been in the trailers and stuff like that. But like the lizard fight, I definitely had times where I either feel like I moved in time and his hitbox was just so big it didn't matter, or maybe I was supposed to jump out of the way. It wasn't clear to me. And it's also like he does this quick change up where he'll do a normal attack that you can parry, and then it'll quickly like go into like an unblockable or something.
He baits
And that
you on the
usually
wall.
This is the thing.
He baits you,
Yeah.
for
this
sure.
this is the thing.
And I
it's
got
like,
baited. I got baited.
you
Well, did you guys just not wear them up?
I didn't.
Oh.
The
I
first
did.
time,
I-
the first
I
time I
loaded
made
them
a
up quite a
mistake, and
bit.
then after that,
Yeah.
I learned.
Yeah.
You should-
like when he was on the wall. Though.
Yeah, you should.
Well,
was
and yes,
yeah.
I did. Yes, I did
Yeah.
that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
okay.
you should
And,
be
I mean,
able
I
to-
didn't die to him. I beat him in one try. It just took me
Yeah.
maybe a little longer than it should have.
Oh,
I
Yeah.
only
I did on
really
first try, too.
started dying towards
Alright, okay, jeez.
towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
We get it. You guys are good at video games.
Not really.
Get good.
Well,
good.
and it's not, but it's not. You should be able to dodge it the way those attacks. It's just with the lizard, it's like, so there's a blue indicator that
Right.
tells you like this is
Yeah.
And
an
a sound,
unblockable
like a
attack.
sound, like a
This is one that
like,
you
I don't
need
know.
to dodge away from.
Ooh.
And with the lizard
Don't
fight in
put
particular,
that
and there
in
was like one or
context.
two
Someone's
other,
gonna fucking clip that.
there was one or two other boss fights where I had the same issue, but mostly with the lizard, it's like the blue thing appears, and then it feels like less than a second later, the
Yeah.
attack lands. It's like
It's
there's
so
no
quick.
time
I think
to react.
So quick.
I think I didn't have a problem. I didn't notice a problem with. I probably had a problem with those things. I just didn't like register as a complaint because it probably was such a
Sure.
minor thing
Yeah.
that it only happened.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
infrequently.
I mean,
that
this
is
is-
also the thing.
so-
It's like
This is a
it is
nitpick.
such a minor thing,
For me, it's a nitpick.
and we're spending way too long talking about it. And
well,
Okay,
no,
yeah,
I mean
sure.
the
much
gameplay is a
bigger deal
gen.
than it actually
Well,
is.
gameplay
I
is
just
a
wanted to get it out of the
genuine
way because I knew you were gonna bring it
problem.
up.
Well, if you have a genuine problem with
Yeah.
gameplay, then I don't think it's a nitpick. But I think
Yeah.
I spent most of the time dodging than parrying. I feel like Spider-Man would not parry that often.
Yeah,
I
it
feel like
feels
it's better.
weird as Spider-Man to parry. Like
Yeah,
I'm not
so
saying it's
I never did,
inappropriate for him to
really.
parry, but it's weird.
The only-
like canonically
yeah.
for him to be parrying.
The only
He's
time
more
I
of a
par-
dodge guy.
Exactly. The only time I parried was, which I loved. This is the biggest reason why I love the parrying for this game as an addition.
Feels
was-
satisfying.
It feels satisfying and it's really helpful against the big guys because the big guys
Yes.
were really annoying in
Yeah.
the first game.
Oh, they were always so fucking.
Now,
annoying,
like
yeah.
you can parry them and then it stuns locks them and then you can whip their ass. So that was
Yes.
so much better. Yeah.
I kind of forced myself to as we've said, get good at the parrying because like I just invested all of my upgrades into the parry mechanics. So it's like every time I parried, I slightly healed.
Yeah.
I gained like more ability, recharge every time I parried. So it's like I unironically bullied myself into learning the parry mechanics. And
You bully McGuire
I
yourself.
Yep. And I genuinely loved the parry mechanic, like the parry mechanics. Like, it got to the point where it's like after a while, I got so terrible at dodging because I just all the time I was just
Yeah.
pressing L1 to parry. So like obviously in some instances, like with ranged enemies, you can't. And if I do have, I think one minor, well, not so much a complaint, but like something I think they can work on for the next game is kind of like figuring out a way, kind of like UI wise, to better differentiate between which attacks do you have to dodge, which attacks do you have to parry, which attacks like which incoming attacks are ranged and stuff. Like each of them have their own different visuals and cues for sure, but it's like if all you're mainly focusing or looking at is like, you know, like kind of the spider sense symbol around your own head.
Yep.
Like it's not immediately noticeable what kind of attack or like whether you can attack it, whether you can parry it. Like whereas like compared to the Arkham games, it's just like everything is literally above each enemy's head. Like if an enemy's about to attack you, they have lightning bolts over their head, and it's either, you know, like blue, yep, you can counter them. Yellow, you have to blade dodge, and then like red is like you have to just dodge out of the way no matter what. Like that's It was simple there. I feel like in here they've, I don't want to say overcomplicated it, but they like, because the screen, especially like with the UI and the HUD, it's so cluttered, potentially even more so than the last game. It's kind of to the point where it's like, to some people I can easily see it being like information overload at times, especially like some of the hectic fights that you come across.
I think if you have, I kind of carried over the muscle memory from the first game into this, and like so there's like a jumping off point there, and for me personally, I found all the upgrades and new mechanics and stuff like very intuitive, and I mean some of them maybe took a little while for me to wrap my head around, but eventually I got into a really nice flow of like I know exactly what to do here. And I'm chaining attacks, and I'm getting everything right, and this is like super fun.
The gameplay,
I think it's like it's more it's easier, and like it feels better to input, but it's like I think like at least like the heads up display itself, it's like it's
I think
at times borders on too much. Like I remember when I saw the gameplay reveal, I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about like having all the abilities and gadgets kind of like constantly on the bottom of the screen. I'm fine with it now. It doesn't bother me too much, but it's like it feels significantly more gamey than the last game, because like at least in the first game, it's like it was limited enough to the point where it's like, okay, I can believe that this is Peter's, like what Peter's actually seeing in his own mask. But
it ruins the first game. It was still great, don't get me wrong, but it ruined the flow when you're like pausing in the middle of the fight, trying to find a tool that you want to use. Where this game, it flows way better.
Oh, for sure.
And not only that,
and I think like
the cooldowns for all the abilities flow very well. Like they come back at a good pace where it's not like too fast, but just enough where like you always feel like you're doing something different in a fight. And then you can do so many crazy combos. They nailed that.
Well,
they nailed that.
It's not something that bothered me when I was playing the game, but I knew from like those first actual gameplay demos they did that I didn't like the UI. I think the UI is quite ugly. But you know, I don't know. You don't really notice that when you're playing.
I got it. Yeah, I thought the same too. I got over it pretty quickly.
I don't. UI like, doesn't bother me unless it's like a RPG where it's like stats and
numbers,
confusing,
and statistics everywhere,
adding armor on every 5 seconds. Like I thought the menu was very straightforward.
Like, I heard some complaints about the upgrade screen. I will say, so these are again nitpicks I thought that the individual upgrade menus were great. When you had Peter and Miles together, I generally didn't find the upgrades worth investing in until like towards the end of the game, where I kind of ran out of spots.
I didn't even notice the upgrades.
I mean,
wow.
What?
Like
I mean, like traversal wise.
Yeah, traversal wise, yeah. But I was like, for the most part, I didn't really notice like, oh, there's a boost here and there.
Yeah. This
I
seems kind
think
of
the
pointless.
Because I maxed them out quickly because I had the I did all the side content first, so I was already
Yes,
like
for
maxed
sure.
out before I even got to the most of the main stuff.
I got the what was it? I think like probably like my favorite new addition to combat in this game, and it's so simple, but it's like I think it's like one of the like last upgrades you have to invest to in the shared tree. But it's like it's the one where like if you have an enemy close to a wall, if you just like keep mashing X, like they'll just like kick him like just repeatedly, just kick him up against a wall like really fast, and then like it's such a satisfying move.
Yes.
I don't have anything else of substance to add to that. I just think it's really cool and fun.
It's
really
just
cool.
a shame that you don't actually unlock that until the bottom of the skill tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like in between that, like there was a lot of like upgrades about like like with web like with like aerial combat and like kind of like web yanking, where it's like you can like toss them side to side, or it's like you can do this stuff, but it's like I feel like a lot of those upgrades in that tree specifically, or that branch of the tree, they weren't, they give the illusion of like complexity
to
the combat. Because they really don't add anything. It's like it's not like the Arkham games where it's like you have like multiple different types of takedowns and moves, like granted, like some of it's supplemented with like the abilities and like gadgets you have, but like the combat here feels a lot more button mashy at times,
especially by
end game. Granted, still better. Like granted, it's still better than the first game, especially without the parry mechanic in that one, but like I feel like if I had to choose between Spider-Man Combat or Arkham Combat, I'd still choose Arkham Combat, just because it has that utility and kind of feel to it that
I think like look, the gameplay is like stunning, right? Like it's
the best part of the game.
It's fabulous.
Far.
It's
for sure.
It's like the combat designers at Insomniac are geniuses. But but I have to say, like there was a point, I think around the start of the third act, where like I was getting like boss fight, and that had like 4 stages, and then I had to fight like 100 enemies at once, and then I had to fight like another 50 enemies at once, and then there was another boss fight with 4 stages, one after the other, and at that point I was kind of feeling like I'm getting a little bit tired here. I kind of don't want to fight people for a while. Can I take a break?
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. I also do want to say that I still think the vast majority of gadgets in this game, while not necessarily useless, I feel like the gadgets are somehow worse than the first game. Even because, like, at least in the first game, you had like there was variety there, like you had impact webs, you had tripwire webs, you had like the spider drone that sort of fought for you, and you had like holograms, and you had like web bombs, like stuff that there was variety, whereas in this game it's like the only gadget I've found myself using continuously throughout the entire game was the web grabber, which like pulled all the enemies into like, which is basically
web grabber
just a
was great.
hole.
I also think the electric one was great, and the ricochet could be helped. Oh no, not the ricochet. The concussion one. I thought those 3 ones were great, and then the ricochet one was just whatever.
I think the first game the first game just had too many though. That's why I felt like it. It has better variety, I feel like, but still.
That's the trade-off. I think the trade-off is maybe that we get less gadgets and it's easier to navigate, but by
end game when I was fighting all the like to beat the hive stuff, like that like by that point I had everything maxed out, all the skills, all the tools and everything, and I was just
story confirmed.
It turned into like Devil May Cry. Like there was so much shit going on screen. Like I was just like full on tool.
Yeah,
I was spamming buttons at that point. Everything was just.
I was too.
Yeah,
I was too.
And I was like a god. I was like a god.
Fucking,
yeah.
Yes, I was just spamming gadgets, and I didn't really care how well they worked out, how well they didn't. I was like, go random bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Fucking fake Moon Man,
exactly.
Moon Knight thing.
So
Moon Man.
I didn't mind it. So I actually quite like. I don't mind the
Alright.
trade off. I don't mind the
Is
trade
ma-
off.
Is this a hot?
I
All
don't-
right, let's
I-
go back
I
to
feel
the.
like-
Let's go. Oh, I want to say this one thing. Is
Oh, sorry.
So, I don't. We're gonna go
Yeah.
back to the hot take meme. Is the hot?
Okay.
Is this a hot take? The MJ missions in this store in this. I don't think this is a hot take, but I'm temperature checking. Are the MJ missions in this game unequivocally better? Unequivocally better than in the first game, and B, actually feel like useful and necessary and like somewhat well done.
Yes.
I think it's,
No,
I think it's
yes.
a good break in the
Yes
Correct.
and
No, no,
maybe. Yes and
And
Oh,
depends.
well, because the one thing I want to say about that, right, is like I agree. I absolutely agree, and I think part of the reason for that, and something that I noticed when I was playing,
because they definitely responded
like,
to fan criticism about
they
those
they
sections.
feel
Oh yeah.
in this game they feel a lot more integrated
Yes.
into the
Yeah.
other missions,
into the
like
story. Absolutely.
like the
Yeah.
in the first game when you get an MJ mission, you'd get an MJ mission, right? Like the mission was you playing as MJ like the whole way through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In this, it's kind
Yeah.
of like it's more like, okay, you get to play as MJ for a section of the level for a lot of them, and I just feel a lot better integrated.
Sorry.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you actually kind of bring up a point that, well, something that kind of leads up into one of my points later on. But I'd actually, I probably have the hottest take out of it. I actually liked all the MJ missions quite a bit. I don't think they were
I
like
agree with you.
they weren't amazing 10 out of 10.
We're talking
But
about
I
the
thought
first
I
they
game.
like
were
them
really
too.
good.
The first one or the second one?
No, second game.
Oh.
Second
Oh,
game.
yeah, I like them all.
First
I
game.
like them all.
First game, I thought they were. Yeah, first game.
They're
I think
whatever.
They were
No, the
fine.
first
First
game,
game, whatever.
first game they were terrible because
You could
I
speed run them.
I hate
the
when
only good
Sony
one
does
was
that.
The Subway one.
They
The
force
only good one was
stealth
the
on
one
you.
in
No.
Central Station where you were controlling
I like that
Spider-Man
one.
and MJ back. I like that one, and that was like the other ones
I'd
were
agree.
like, eh.
I hate when they force.
I mean, you
it's a big
can-
problem with stealth game.
the-
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
Mitch.
I was just gonna say, like, you can, with the amount of times I've replayed that first Spider-Man game, I've just learned to speedrun them to like beat them
Yeah.
all in like 2-3 minutes maybe, except for
Oh
like the
yeah,
last couple.
I played it
ones
again and I
where
flew
they
through
actually
it.
force
Yeah.
you to.
What it is, what's
Yeah.
with that Mary Jane. I just hate when video games when they force stealth on you. Like I hate like when you play an action
Yeah.
game. Okay, we're gonna have a stealth section. If they see you get a game over. I hate that. And this game
Yep.
fixes that because if you get caught, you have a chance
Yeah.
to dodge and fight back.
Yep.
Which I
Or you can get away. You can run away, and like their
Exactly.
things will go down, just like in any.
although
stealth
the
game.
AI
So
is
it's nice.
not the best, and I was just full on charging at people and taking them out, and so like.
Yeah, I was always
you-
unsure how fast you could go behind somebody without them turning around and you.
Yeah,
getting
'cause
caught.
you-
I mean, I knew that wasn't an end game.
For
but
a lot
still.
of honestly, for me, like a lot of the sections, I didn't even have to stealth really. I just ran at them and knocked everybody out, like because there was so much. There was
Fucking
such
John Wick.
I was John Wicking everybody. I'm not even joking. Like you can genuinely because everybody was so spread out. Like you can generally run at the guys and
Yeah.
knock them out before they even have a chance to like react. So the time they saw me, like I'm already shocking them.
Who needs Spider-Man? Just play the whole game as MJ.
You really
I
could.
know.
I was playing.
know.
It was The Last of Us Part 2.
I
I
love-
was genuinely like I was
they-
like Ellie. That's what it felt like to me.
Fucking
Yeah.
IGN posted an interview with Brian Inatar, and he was like, "Yeah, we know MJ is OP. We don't care. I literally don't
was,
give
though.
a fuck that she's OP.
She was OP.
Like yeah. She's like, I don't care. Like I'd rather her be like that than be like she was in the first game, which led to a lot of fan criticism. Like I'd rather her be, and I agree.
Yeah.
I think that's the better end of the spectrum. on
Yeah, by
that.
the end of the game, it's like a third-person shooter.
I think.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it was. It felt like I
The
was
Last
getting
of Us.
ready for Alan Wake 2 by playing MJ in the late game. There's literally some horror elements in this game that are really fucking cool, especially as MJ.
Yeah, I want to say about that too.
I
This
think
game has
the-
genuine like amazing
Oh, yeah.
horror moment. Like this game has genuine like great atmosphere and horror. Like it's legitimate scary in some parts. I mean, I wasn't scary, but you get what I'm saying. Like it was genuinely has awesome moments like
I
that.
agree
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah, I think
You know me, I only play horror all the time.
literally my only complaint with how strong Mary Jane is in this game is that it does the freaking Resident Evil Village thing where it's just like, oh, military training, like off-screen
Yeah.
military training in between
That's
games.
true.
And I'm like, it doesn't like. I don't have a problem with Mary Jane having combat experience or like being able to hold her own. That's not the issue. I think if anything, the only issue or nitpick is the fact that, like, it's such an interesting, or it has the possibility to be such an interesting development for the character. Why show that off screen, or why like wave
Well,
that
there you
off?
go.
Yeah.
Mary
Between
Jane spin-off
games.
game. You said we're gonna get a spin-off game. We get the
Yeah,
Mary
There
Jane
we go.
spin-off.
Let's go. MJ and
Oh no,
Zakaria.
no.
The fucking
No.
nitpicks. Check out Mr. Negative over here.
We didn't.
Okay, that's the best joke
Hey,
that I think James has ever done. That was so smooth, James.
Okay.
You're getting a reaction out of me for that one.
You definitely redeemed yourself after today.
I agree.
But I think we hit on all the gameplay.
If I find
think, so.
Spider-Man
Yes.
again, can I?
I want to say
Um,
also one last thing about the gameplay. Best traversal probably of all time in any game
Yeah,
ever. Like just
That's
incredible.
not. That's not even debatable. It's by far the
Yeah.
greatest of all
I-
time.
I'm honestly
Goat.
it's honestly concerning how good the web wings are.
Yes,
Like
it
I
is.
feel like I feel like by the end of the game I was probably 65% web wings, 35%
Yeah.
swinging.
I wasn't even swinging
Yeah,
anymore.
I was like
That's-
80-20. I was like 80-20 by the end. Like I was
Yeah.
really
I mean, there's
spamming those web
Yeah.
wings.
You could swing it.
Swinging's for
I mean,
nerds.
you can literally get a trophy
Yeah.
obviously from going like across the map for.
Yeah.
So like.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
the web wings are like take you as far, and it feels. I was like, wow, I want a Superman game. It sort of made me feel like I was like, wow, I want a game where like they can master flying around a map.
See if people
Yeah.
start fucking asking Insomniac to make. a
No, I don't.
Superman
No, I didn't say
game.
Insomniac. I
lose
just
my
mean
shit.
like.
No, I know,
in
but like
general.
I feel like people are gonna do that now.
Well, we got.
Just check
on
then-
Twitter. There's
No,
probably someone
they would
doing
never
it.
betray Marvel to make DC game. Now they're all Marvel. They're the Marvel studio now.
True.
I like James Gunn
Wait,
did it.
it's not. Wait until we get. Wait until Insomniac starts making like X-Men games. Like Wolverine's a big hit. We're like, we're gonna make a freaking
Imagine
Storm
if-
game. We're gonna make.
Imagine
fucking
if Ted
Cyclops
Price
the
just
game.
goes over to like.
Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na.
Imagine if we see Ted Price just go over to like WB Games or like Rocksteady and just start making all like the DC superhero games over there. Now, what a twist
That's a
that'll
sad
be.
though. It's a sad thing is like they'll make a better
Yeah.
Batman game today, like now
Oof.
compared to like Rocksteady today. Like they're making the Super Suicide Squad. That game looks like.
I don't even
hot doo-doo.
even see that as a Rocksteady. I don't even see that as a Rocksteady game. I see
Unfortunately,
that
it
as yeah, but like as a Warner Brothers mandated game
Sure.
that just Rocksteady so happened
Yeah.
to
Well,
develop
for the
or make.
wait,
yeah,
do you know?
Yeah,
Do you
sorry,
know
yeah.
what? Do you know what game Insomniac could be really good at making? Actually,
Resistance.
Resistance 4.
I will let you have that joke. No.
Okay, step down. One final criticism about the gameplay. The stealth in this game sucks. It sucks. It sucked in the first game. Miles Morales actually redeemed it a whole lot, and now it sucks again.
it does suck. It does suck, but like in a really good way.
Well,
Like it's
Okay.
it's ridiculously easy. It's
Yep.
too easy.
Yeah.
It's-
I can't say it
but
sucked. It's
like-
too simple to
that's
say it
good.
sucks. I don't know. It's too simple to say it sucked. I thought the stealth was very fine.
It-
Mm-hmm.
it's like the thing is that like with the web lines, they make
I
it
spam those. So
they
much.
make it too easy.
I
Oh
love
yeah,
them.
but
Web lines.
I think the thing that I loved about
Friendship
Miles
with
Morales is that like
invisibility over. New friendship with web lines
Oh.
established.
oh yeah, like the fucking like in Miles Morales that Fisk Tower section where it's like you infiltrate like the whatever they call the underground, and it's like you get into your
Yep.
suit and then you have like that
The rocks
big
on
giant
stuff.
open area.
Yeah.
Where it's like where you have to like stealth, or you can like stealth through a bunch of the underground enemies. That was generally one of the best stealth sections I've played in any of these games ever. MJ sections included. Like because it's like it at least gave me the options. Like if I did want to go like guns blazing, so to speak, and just like go and beat them all in hand-to-hand combat, I can do that. If I wanted to go completely stealth, I can do that. If I wanted to do a mix, I could do that. And I felt like because of how big and wide open the arena was, it gave you it gave you options. Whereas in this game, it's gone back to the first game's kind of level design, where you're in a lot of very cramped. You're either in a lot of very cramped, very narrow buildings with limited kind of stealth opportunities and really cramped enemy placement, where it's like you're meant to eventually engage in combat,
Yeah.
or either that, or it's like you just be on like random rooftops or alleyways where it's like there's like literally no option to hide at all. Like even if you're invisible, it's like you stealth take down maybe 1 or 2 enemies, and then it's like you have to go to
it's
combat.
important also to note that the game definitely de-incentivizes stealth, as opposed to the first game and the second game, where you could see that Insomniac were trying to like we're trying to like experiment, but in this game it definitely feels like, hey, stealth is cool, and if you want to do that, that's fine, but really you're Spider-Man, just go beat him the fuck up.
I love
the game. By the end of the game, I tested something out. As Miles, I just dropped into one of the bases, and I just 1v, I don't know, 500 everybody. I fucking kicked their ass. The other thing too, one recommendation I want to make for the game. One of the last things I'll say about the game: don't sleep on the, and maybe this is obvious, but it wasn't obvious to me. Don't sleep on the Venom powers. Don't sleep on the L3, R3 powers. Those are good. They feed into your into your finishers. They by themselves are awesome. They're big AoEs. I didn't use them throughout a lot of the story, not because I thought they were bad, but because I kept forgetting. I kept forgetting that they were there. So I made the whole game like a lot harder for myself than I had to.
Well, because they're only like. I mean, again, this is kind of the UI.
They're tiny.
Thing. It's like,
the symbols in the top right of the screen are so fucking tiny. I forgot they were there.
It's like a tiny little yellow bar.
I mean,
in like the very like top right, it's like you can barely see it.
I'm sorry, Insomniac. I'm not looking up there.
Not that I'm judging you guys, but what size TV are you guys playing on?
Big one.
Like that one. Like,
I didn't have that.
Like
I didn't.
Probably.
I didn't feel like it was small at all. I thought
30.
It was
I feel like I'm Leonardo DiCaprio right now. Like
I feel like a
30-something inch
audio medium
monitor that's like right in front of me. So
same.
like my monitor is like right in front of me. So
I
I'm not very observant. I mean, maybe it's a me thing. I'm just telling people, don't be like me. Which it's a general life tip that I would give to anybody.
We gotta.
I don't fucking know what happened with me.
We gotta probably wrap up. Yeah, literally wrap up.
I still want to talk about the visuals really quick because we didn't hit on that yet. Because this game is
the game looks pretty. The end.
The game looks awesome. Yeah.
No. We still got 10 minutes. We don't have to like rush. The ray tracing in this game is the best I've ever seen on PS5.
It's beautiful
to this point.
Oh yeah,
like the ray tracing in this game is gorgeous. Like almost everything in this game is ray traced. It's seamless. Like
I was he like part of a side mission or something? I never met him.
But the Sandman fight, the opening fight, was probably the best opening for a Sony game in terms of like a big boss battle that blew me away since God of War 3. Like it was that incredible. Like I was absolutely jaw dropped like that. Maybe Final Fantasy 16 was close to that as well. It was incredible.
There's a moment in that Sandman mission where Miles gets thrown across across like to the other side of the city in like a couple seconds and then leaps back. Yeah. And it's like that was like clearly like them showing off, like here look at what we
absolutely
can do,
I
love
didn't
even register with me.
I love the meme on Twitter. There was like people were like, I've never seen Sandman throw white Peter Parker like that before. This does seem a little obviously it's a joke, but anyway, go ahead.
I was expecting more of that stuff throughout the story, but then it kind of feels like it died off.
Well, the black. I don't want to say too much about that, but there is one of the main missions with like a certain item that involves a certain character who's going.
But like that's only for a mission, though. That's only for a mission,
but it's still cool.
For sure.
The
make your own choices mission. Yeah.
Like I'm saying them them showing off the tech by like having a character go from like one point in the city to another really quickly.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing as well. Like. I thought that they were gonna, you know how you can change between characters in free roam.
Yeah.
I thought they were gonna do like a GTA 5 style, like it zooms out. And,
that's true. Yeah.
Zooms back into the character and you see what they're doing, or even like a thing that they do sometimes in the campaign kind of cutscenes where the camera like flies through the city and stuff. Like I thought they were gonna do something like that, but instead it's just like a black screen.
I guess because they had to load in all the side missions for those characters. Yeah, I guess because they had to load in all the icons, like different icons because they all have their own
Yeah,
side stuff.
it's
But yeah,
I
Oh,
I was actually
One small thing.
I was oh
I would
sorry.
say
oh,
I
real
was-
quick,
I was saying-
real quick. I love that when you press R3, you can see all the icons in the city. I think that's a really brilliant way to handle the various side missions. Okay, that's all.
Well,
I
they had that in the last game as well, though.
Did they? As like
actually
icons floating
Yeah.
in the city? Really? Oh, yeah.
No, you just had
forgot.
little stickers that it was a lot worse presented.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
well,
That's what I'm saying, it's better.
I was saying earlier in the Alan Wake section that I actually think that game is a much better, like it's a much better presentation of the SSD technology than this game. I feel like that game regularly uses the SSD to a lot better effect in like a way that's like technically, oh wow, this is like, actually like this would not have been doable
only one
on
mission.
last gen systems.
well,
No. I mean, I'd say like even just like for general gameplay usage in Alan Wake 2. I mean, like it's really put to its
where it's
fullest use in.
I feel like where it's
a certain
obvious.
section.
There's probably a lot of sections in this game that like we just don't realize that the SSD is doing. You know what I mean? Like it things that would
Which
run well.
yeah.
Because like one thing about this game with the
Oh, for
visuals
sure.
is New York City is way more detailed and condensed and condensed. First game did not have cars driving around like this game does. Like this game looks 1,000 times better than the first game. Like there's way more detail in everything: the flags, the cars, the streets, the people. There's way more
you
like
can
of a
actually
city,
see-
actual city than the first game.
Yeah. Well,
Huge
I
jump.
think the thing that kind of blew me away is that you can actually see people inside interiors like
Yeah.
doing stuff like writing at a desk or something.
That's
which,
that's the
like,
SSD.
in the in the first game, like we got maybe like the odd glimpse into like a PNG image of an interior,
Right.
That was just
Exactly.
repeated ad
Exactly.
nauseum. But
Yeah,
like in
I'm-
here, it's like you
that's
actually see.
that's the
I'm
difference.
kind of mixed on that though, because like it was kind of creepy when I was playing as Black Suit Spider-Man, and like I was like
Yeah.
running across a rooftop, and I stumbled across a window of a woman in there doing yoga, and like
Yeah.
Spider-Man's just sitting there staring in through the window.
Imagine seeing that though, like just like Black Suit Spider-Man just kind of like staring outside your
Somebody-
window. Like,
But really,
What? How's that song go?
Yeah.
I got a feeling that somebody's watching me.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
yeah, the Michael
So,
Jackson.
Every breath
the-
you
that's not like
take, I'll
that.
be watching you.
yeah. So the point.
Oh, that's
is-
the police.
yeah,
that's
it's
police.
police.
different song.
The different, yeah, difference. Yeah.
Different song, I know.
The different. I think. I said this before. The difference in generation is not the visuals, like the graphics. It's the performance. And I think that
Yeah.
that's the difference. Like the fact that like the PS5 can have that much density on the screen with New York and be
Yeah.
seamless. Almost. I had almost
thing is
none
that
no frame rate drops or anything like that. Very smooth experience. I play on performance mode.
I feel
but-
like, yeah, I feel like I'm probably gonna get butchered for this. I think. So I remember when I played Miles Morales on the PS5 for the very first time, especially since I originally got the game on the PS4, but like playing it on the PS4, experiencing that game there, then playing on the PS5 for the first time, I remember even just in that opening cutscene, like just seeing the furs on like Miles's coat and
Oh, yeah.
seeing the sunlight, how that reflects off him, and like seeing the strands of hair, seeing like all the particle effects with the snow blowing around. I remember just like instantly being like, holy shit, this looks like super detailed. And that was on performance mode as well. Honestly, overall fidelity wise, at least in terms of like detail per model, to an extent, I feel like Miles Morales looks slightly better. Like granted, and that's not meant to be so much a dig at this game though, because like at the same time, this game is double the
Massive.
map size.
Yeah.
It has inbuilt ray tracing. It has what you call it. It's like as we were just saying, it's got like sort of like actually moving interiors. It has so much more detail packed into it that it's like I can understand the slight dip we took in like actual
Yeah,
texture
but
and like fidelity
I didn't.
in response to that. Like
I didn't notice that. I feel like it's such a minor difference that like almost nobody's gonna notice that unless you're like really looking at it. I guess in a comparison of the two.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah, like
and-
we're next to each other kind of thing.
Well, that I mean, like I feel like it's like an early, like it's a similar kind of thing that like happened in like from the early to late PS4 gen. Like a lot of the early PS4 gen games, like say Infamous Second Son. It's like you look at it now. It's like you look at like all the attention paid to the lighting and the like sort of the lighting and the reflections in the environment. It's like that still holds up amazingly now. Where it's like to the point where it's like I'd even argue it looks better than some late gen PS4 games, even some late gen first party games.
Sure,
but it's all kind of more so done just in an attempt to. It's like I feel like in that instance, it was like they kind of pushed those specific aspects there because it.
Well,
like they wanted to really show it off, make it all look all flashy.
This game's been worked on for the last 3-4 years, so 5 years. So like we have not yet seen like the full power of the PS5 from these developers. Like they've made this game with like the basic PS5, so we'll see what Insomniac can do in the next game, like how much better this game can look in the next game, because I feel like that's when Sony's really gonna that's always what happens the last 3-4 years of the generation. Sony's gonna get the best optimization of the PS5, and I'm curious what Insomniac's gonna be able to do in about 2026 or whatever.
Oh god. Yeah, imagine. Can we just get Insomniac to consult with Bethesda and whatever fucking engine they're using, please? Please.
I agree. Different genre.
Yeah,
I get
different genre. I know, but it's like SSD, like especially SSDs and stuff. It's like Insomniac are fucking
it's
wizards.
Time. Yeah,
but
Insomniac is like wizards. Like Bethesda.
Yeah,
they need a new engine, as we said. But let's wrap it up now.
New engine.
Spider-Man 2 is top 3 game of the year, I think, in my opinion. It's that good.
For me as well.
Yeah. So
after Alan Wake, who knows?
Wow. Yeah. Alan Wake could be my honestly, top. I don't know yet. It's too early for that. But
Alan Wake's definitely my top 3. RE4 was definitely my top 3. Whether this still cuts it by the end of the year, who knows? Probably will. Who knows?
Yeah, I'll say the three games we talked about tonight is in my top 10. So my top 10 list totally changed just from like the last 2 weeks. So
I don't even have Starfield in my top 10 anymore. It was like at 10, and now it's at
Starfield's not in my top 10 anymore. But we'll talk about it. It's not because I hate it or anything. But we'll talk about that in the future.
Same.
All right, you all have a good night. Happy Halloween, everybody.
And don't interact with any black goo.
Yep.
Watch out, people, because some people are putting a whole ass game of Doom from the 90s in your candy. So be careful, okay? They can put Doom anywhere these days.
The symbiote in your candy. Yeah, and your Tootsie Roll.
What is this black goo in my...
Why am I jealous all of a sudden? Why do I hate All right, see you guys. Bye.
Why is EDM music so bad for me now?